Friday. It's Ben and Woods, 97.3 The Fan. Feels so nice to be here with you this morning. I figured out the secret to a positive and healthy lifestyle yesterday. I'll share that with you guys in a moment. My name is Woodsy. To my right, we have a special guest in studio. Do we want to say your last name, or should we just call you Chris?
Call me Chris.
All right, we'll call you
East
Chris.
County Chris.
East County Chris
There you go.
has joined us this morning, and he won he bought the co-host for a day at the Ben and Woods Open. We did it out at Rancho Bernardo Inn. It was an incredible day. Somebody else actually won the raffle. You were intoxicated.
Yep.
And walked up to me, said, "I'll give you $100 cash."
Pretty much, that's exactly how.
And the guy goes, "Done," and hands it off to you. And now you're here co-hosting with Ben and Woods for a day. Welcome.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
It's good to have you, man. We will get into you, your life story, and all of that soon. Paulie Reindl is currently getting all the cameras set up in studio, getting everybody dialed in. He's our executive. Here, say hi in this mic, Paulie.
Hello.
Hey, there you go. There's Paul Reindl, fresh off a 2 seed in his adult basketball league.
Yeah.
Clinched that last night. So there you go. Paulie is here as well.
Ones.
The tier ones have done it. Gonna actually call on the tier ones for some help this morning. One of our beloved tier ones, Christina Edelman, I married her and her husband. I was the minister, if you will. They've got a beautiful little baby named Danny. She's absolutely beautiful. She's
Cutest
so sweet.
little girl.
And I hope one of my kids marries her. Is how cute she is. And then they would be phenomenal in-laws.
Not like married them like you did.
No,
you
like
want them not
absolutely.
to perform the ceremony.
Correct.
Okay.
And I would do it. I would do it then too. I think that would be cool. But I love her and her family so much. She hit me up and asked, "Hey, we want to use the Ben and Woods logo. We're going to be playing at OTL over the line." And I said, "Yeah, it's all yours. We'll sponsor your team." So we did. We sponsored their team. Now we need a dirty, creepy name for them. So my mind is pure. It's very pure. So I couldn't think of anything dirty or creepy.
This is usually Ben's department.
This is usually Ben's department, or the tier ones. You guys are disgusting. So put it on you guys. If you can think of a cool name that kind of relates to our show.
And we want it in the realm of the Ben and Woods show, right?
Yeah, I mean, but not like tier ones or anything, like something creepy and disgusting that fits OTL, which is great. So if you have any ideas, tweet us at Ben and Woods. You can put it in the YouTube stream. Go to youtube.com, search Ben and Woods. You can watch us there right now. To my left, Benjamin R. Higgins joins us. He's our Secretary of Homeland Exploration, our friend. Good morning, Ben.
Good morning. I like this little full house on a Friday.
Yes.
Feels festive. You know, after a win, all get together and finish the week on a high note.
Yes.
Yeah, Chris, were you getting nervous throughout the week? Like, oh, God, I don't want to go in on Friday after another heartbreaking loss.
Oh yeah, I'm just glad I wasn't in yesterday after that home plate call.
After
I was livid.
Ben was as livid as
I was pretty upset yesterday.
That was the first game. After they scored the 3 runs after that, I just turned the game
Turn
off.
it off.
I was like, I
One
don't
of
want to
those.
know.
Yeah, I mean, you're only co-hosting for a day. We had to sit and watch to the rest of that game. Yesterday, though, the secret for mental strength and success and a healthy life is Padres play early. They win by 10 runs. I go to bed at 7:30 and fall asleep and sleep until 4. And I feel like a new man today. Yesterday, I felt like a bag of mashed up buttholes. I did. I was just like, ugh, all day long. And it was an arduous day. It was a grindy day. And you make it through. And I sacked out. The sun was still out when I fell asleep last night. And I feel dynamite this morning.
Nice.
Dynamite. Not so much probably my co-host, Ben.
No.
What's going on? What's happening right now? What's going on?
The Odyssey app, we're still streaming the DA show and not Ben and Woods.
Oh, no.
So I got that word from people that are saying, where are you going?
No.
Where are you this
We're
morning?
here.
What's going on? Why aren't you on? And I said, well, we are on. So that's a problem. And I just saw on Twitter, and my mom just texted me and said, no, DA show right now on the Odyssey app.
A button that was supposed to switch over automatically did not, but
So
I just manually.
So welcome to everybody listening on the we need to
We gotta
reintroduce
do this
everybody.
again. I'm Woodsy.
For everyone on the app. Yep. Who's to your right?
This
Was
is
he?
Chris.
Yeah.
Chris is our co-host for a day. He wanted it to Ben Woods Open. He paid
East
the guy
County
$100.
Chris,
yeah.
East County Chris. He
Yep.
paid the guy $100 for it. He's here.
Paul's messing with the camera.
Paulie's here. He's here. Welcome, Paulie. Good to have you. Ben Higgins.
Benjamin R. Higgins.
Yeah, Benjamin
Here
R. Higgins.
for you. Hello, everybody on the Odyssey app. Sorry you missed the first scintillating 5 minutes of this show.
You didn't want to hear Mraz from the DA show.
He's actually leaving and going to be with Tiki Barber, I think, in the afternoons. I heard.
Yeah, they like switched up everything over
Yeah.
there.
Did they?
Yeah.
The old radio shuffle bit. We've not shufflled anybody. This has been very
weird, almost. I mean,
I've always had
Weird.
the idea of maybe we do a lineup shuffle for like a day. Like
Yeah, pass.
I mean, we
I
changed
wanna do
and
it.
went to 4 hours, so we went live and local all day. That's the only shuffle we've
Yeah.
done in the entire time we've been here,
which is
pretty weird.
really rare in this business.
I've heard
but
like stations will do everyone like for one day, like they'll pull
Yeah,
all,
White
the,
Elephant.
all the hosts together and all the producers together.
Throw in
And
the
it's
hat.
like, all right, Paulie, you're producing afternoons with Coach and Woods.
yeah,
and
dude.
Ben, you're doing middays with Tony Gwynn Jr.
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
Chris, you're now on with Chris. It's Chris and Chris in the
Actually,
afternoon.
you got solo in the morning. You got the solo show, so have fun.
I want to see Woods and Coach together.
Me and Coach together actually would not be as bad as you might think it would be. I think I could get through it with Coach. I think it'd be fun.
Would you just treat him like you treat me, or would it be different?
I'd wear him out.
Yeah.
Are you kidding? I would wear Coach out.
Sounds like a good idea. We should do this.
It actually, I do not want to do the, my wife says I'm pro radio shuffle. Of course you are. She likes to see me in pain. It's probably her favorite thing to do. But listen, it's great to be here. I got such a good night's sleep. I mean, the best I think I've had in forever. And, the 10-0 win was fantastic. The last thing you needed to worry about was the San Diego Padres yesterday trying to eke out a close one and salvage a one win out of 4, and it was great. It was great. It was a fantastic day. Ben, you did something yesterday. We're in the process of as well. You did a little tech house cleaning.
Yeah, is that a thing? Is there a name for it now?
Not that I know of, but
we have. So we are in the process and have recently switched out a lot of our internet provider, cable, mobile.
so you didn't have cable though, right?
No, we had a streaming direct TV before.
Okay.
and
Did
now-
you get Cox?
No, we got Spectrum.
Why don't you like Cox?
We didn't have the option
love
for that.
Cox.
I
We
love
only-
Cox too.
Only had Spectrum in our area, but it had much faster internet speeds, which the kids had been
Are you
kind
afraid
of
of
clamoring
Cox?
for.
What are you afraid of Cox?
I'm not afraid of it. I just don't have it available. So
It's
yeah.
pretty. Cox is readily available when you want it.
But
you
if-
can find Cox almost anywhere.
Like how you put off cleaning out your garage or your attic or whatever. It's like there. I'm going to get to it, and then a couple months goes by and you still haven't got to it. We've been doing that with tech, and finally this week we've gotten to it. And yesterday we were in the process of basically going through all of our passwords and accounts to make sure that they all are logged in correctly, that everyone has the right password. We had this phenomenon where everyone would log in incorrectly to a different what was the Max account, what was the Disney account, and then you get
Streamline.
bumped off and you'd have to reset it constantly. I mean, we've been doing this for months and months.
It's
and
a
months.
nightmare, dude.
So
It
we
is.
finally just put it all together. Okay, everyone with passwords. Here's the username. Here's the
Like-
login. Here's the new password.
Was it family meeting whiteboard?
A little bit, yeah.
Like I need. Here's this, and you write the.
We actually did it while we were watching the Padres game.
Yeah,
All right,
it's a
okay,
good
do this,
idea.
do that, and we're all sitting there watching and going through our tech and trying to get it a little bit streamlined. It's gotten so out of hand nowadays. You have so many different accounts, so many different subscriptions that there's very little way to keep track of everything. You wonder, what am I paying for that I don't even realize that I'm doubling up? Like, oh, I would get that for free, but I'm paying for this twice. And
Yeah.
It's impossible to keep track nowadays.
Now, Chris, East County Chris joins us. He's our co-host for the day. Are you Cox guy? Or are you Spectrum or what?
I do half Cox and
Half
then
Cox.
half direct TV.
That's
stream.
good. That you can
So,
do that.
Yeah.
I
Just
actually
a little
have
bit of Cox.
just a
Little bit
little,
of Cox.
yeah,
Not
a
too
little
much.
bit, yeah, just half. We're a Cox family, and I was actually on the phone with the guy from Cox the other day.
It's okay to be curious about Cox.
Yeah,
and not go all the way.
That's what this is. This segment's for. Is I had the guy from Cox on the phone, and we talked about it, and the guy, I've never had a guy on the phone say, "Hey, listen, I'm looking at your bill right now. By the way, my bill, we have been blowing through so much data. We think because of a certain radio show's YouTube stream that streams in our home every morning. Hours?
That shouldn't be that. To actually just watch it shouldn't be that bad.
I would think so.
Yeah.
But you also have my wife streaming all the time. I'm streaming all the time. We'd run our bill up. And the guy actually, I've never had it. And I think he might have made a mistake. He goes, you can just get rid of cable. I was going to save you like $120. I'm like, do you not work? You work for the cable company, right? I'm like, and so I said, so if the guy from the cable company is telling me it's probably time to cut bait and just stream, maybe I'll do that. So I think we're, Paulie, I told you yesterday, it's time for our yearly conversation about Woods is walking the plank. Will he actually jump at this point? So we'll see. We'll see. I'm very, very close. I've got everything dialed in. Everything good?
Yeah, it's good.
Okay. Make me nervous.
Everyone can hear us now.
Okay, everyone's got it.
Just wanted to make sure.
All right, good.
They're confirmed.
Good.
But yeah, I mean, why didn't you just have unlimited data though?
Well,
You were going
because
over
it's
on your
expensive.
data?
Yeah, so I did add unlimited.
It's not as expensive as going over on a limited amount of data, though. That's really expensive.
They give you 1 month of grace. And I called, I had to do the whole thing. They gave me 1 month of grace. I don't have to pay the exorbitant bill. I did have to add unlimited. You know my bill will be a month? If I keep everything?
Oh, boy.
Yes. $300. $300.
You could buy a Tesla with that.
Dude, 100%. I can go to cut it all and go to Maui
Ford
after.
Bronco from Manny
Yes,
Sedano
done.
Ford, I believe you've been
Done.
telling us about. For
It's a done deal.
$299 a month.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's like I just get bent over at every turn. So I am thinking, I was talking to my wife, I go, we need to figure it out because I got 100 apps I watch TV through and she does too. It's the sports. The sports is what gets me. Like you can't just, I'm sure you can, but what if I want to go watch MLB Network, Paulie? What if I want to go watch High Heat with Kevin Millar?
Then you get a DirecTV stream or Fubo.
Yeah.
Padre games are on Fubo now. I saw that ad yesterday.
I don't even know what this means. I don't know what any of that is. I want to keep the Cox internet, right? Because it's there. I don't want to have to do the whole bit over again. But I just don't. But what if I can't watch the stuff that's on my TV?
I had somebody DM'd me after our members only stream the other night. We were talking about maybe creating a Ben and Woods, a tier 1 Discord.
Yeah, I have no idea what that is.
It's basically like an online community message board, chat room that kind of goes on forever, and we can allow our community to be together in that. We could chat during games, whatever, throughout the day. And I said, look, the only issue, like I've thought about that. I've looked into it a little bit. I don't know much about Discord. I know more than either of you. But the problem is Woodsy's going to take one look at like the dashboard when he logs in and he goes, nope,
That's it for me.
I'm out. This looks like robotics. This is another language. I'm out.
All right, we still off. Somebody just said the radio app has DA on. This is so fun.
Try resetting because everybody else a lot of people have told me that it's working now.
Reset.
Why don't we reset,
Dad.
take our first break, get everyone on the same page and streaming the same show at the same time, and then we can get going. We have a Friar Friday today. It's our management report. We'll talk to the CEO of the San Diego Padres, Eric Grupner, coming up at 8 o'clock. I want to hear a little bit more about the culture. Obviously, AJ Preller sets the culture on the baseball operations side, but it's a big building. Just want to hear how things are going in that building with the Padres not meeting expectations so far this year. They're killing it at the box office.
Oh, yeah.
Setting records. And I know Eric wants to come on and thank the fans for their unbelievable support of the team, but do they believe that will continue if the team continues to flounder in the standings? Is that going to be a problem from the financial side of the business if they can't keep up this attendance pace? Because, well, quite frankly, not as many people go and buy tickets to a team that's not winning and not going to the playoffs. That's sports 101. So interesting conversation with the CEO, Eric Grupner, coming up at 8 o'clock. Craig Elston joins us every Friday with his Crossing Streams recommendation. I'm sure he's got some advice. He does his technology roundup every year, which streaming apps you need to have in December. So he's probably well aware of the conversation we just had about streaming and getting it all on one page. He'll be with us at 7:35. All guests on Ben Woods appear on the Premier Chevrolet of Carlsbad fan hotline. Save money the right way with Premier Chevrolet of Carlsbad. Visit them today in the Carlsbad Auto Mall. Chevrolet, buy a new road. Because Woods lost a couple of times this week on Take on Woods, he almost didn't even get a Diddy selection, but you're getting one today.
Yeah, we did. Me and East County Chris here, who's our co-host for the day. We tag teamed this bad boy, and we picked it together.
All right, wrapping up
holding hands.
our week of duets, and then we're going to give away some playoff tickets when we come back. Playoffs. Not Padres playoff tickets,
Bro,
but
if we were
red hot team go into the playoffs in San Diego, the Legion.
if we were like massive rugby fans, we would be beating our naked chests about how good our team is here.
I think they're 2 wins away from the title, and you're getting the conference championship game playoff tickets here
Mama.
at Snapdragon Stadium. We'll give those away coming up next as well. Getting started here. It is a Friday. We are almost to that weekend. It is right ahead of us. It's Ben and Woods. Let's get our first check of traffic with Kelly Danik here and off and running on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
I'm going to Jackson. So good. So good. Johnny Cash, June Carter, Jackson. You know that, though. It was a dual selection by myself, East County Chris. He's our co-host for the day. And can't really beat that. Can't really beat Johnny Cash and June Carter Cash and Walk the Line, the whole thing. Probably one of the best, if not the best,
Probably the best.
musical biopic ever.
Joaquin Phoenix.
God, he was
yeah.
brilliant.
So good.
Man, he's brilliant. in
It's
that
always
movie.
on TV. I just watched it like a week ago.
Every time it's on, I'm like, yes, I'm
Yeah.
in. I'm
I'll
watching.
jump right in.
Big
It's
old
so good.
tractor. Nothing. You still taking them pills, Junior? Good Lord, man. It's so good.
This hour on Ben and Woods is brought to you by Smart and Final. Smart and Final's got your whole 4th of July cookout, from snacks to burgers to drinks and more at prices that are worth celebrating. Get it all in one trip, and that's it.
Are you okay?
I am.
Are you nervous because East County Chris is here?
No, you just looked at me like, say something. So I did. I said something. Speaking of
A little
celebrating,
nervous.
Victor Wembanyama celebrating last night, the #1 overall pick as expected in the NBA draft. He got teary. He cried. I like the kid. I really do.
How could you not?
I'm
man?
cheering for good things. They now say he's 7'5". I think he's grown another inch since they started draft season.
I will say this. It's weird. I've seen the highlights of him, like on Twitter and stuff back when I had Twitter, him throwing it up, catching it off the backboard, dunking. He looks like a 7 foot tall plus Michael Jordan.
It's
Then I saw him-
unbelievable.
Then I saw him on a pitcher's mound with the ball in his hand, and he looked like a baby giraffe that was just born and was like, and I was like, see, baseball clearly harder than any other sport by far.
I keep waiting for the contrarians to go, they're overhyping this kid. There's just no way, he's going to be that good. And yet every single one of the usually moderate guy like Jay Billis, he's going like, he's absolutely incredible. There is no way he's not going to be a giant star as long as he stays healthy. And that's always
the deal.
the thing about 7'5" guys. They got, long moving parts, and he doesn't have a huge frame. That's like the only concern about him in his game.
That's a big one though, when you're 7'5" and pretty gangly.
I mean,
But the videos is what, and then
Shaq was 7 feet,
Shaq was
7'1", maybe.
he was a brick ass house. He
like
looked sturdy.
Yao Ming was 7'4",
He
or
was
7'5",
big.
7'6", I
7'6".
think. Yeah.
Sturdy.
and he lasted a little bit.
Yeah.
But Sean Bradley lasted a little while,
Yeah.
broke down. Taco Fall is like 7'6", but he
Yeah.
doesn't really do a whole
Doesn't
lot.
do a lot.
I saw Wembanyama is talking about how his exercise, he takes his shoes. He's really like he does with his feet to try
Yeah, I
to
was
keep them
watching that.
healthy, because he
He
knows
like
it's a big
crawls
guy.
on
Yeah,
his on all
crawls.
fours to like take care of his feet.
It's pretty interesting, and he seems very committed and seems like a good kid.
He's a good kid. Yeah.
I saw his side of his call with Greg Popovich. That would be a little nerve wracking to have to talk to Pop for the first time, but
100%.
I was
Play for
watching when
Pop.
he got drafted. He was sitting on the couch doing the interview with his brother and sister, and the interviewer goes, "All right, like you kind of knew where you were gonna go, but when you heard San Antonio Spurs," he goes, "Oh my god!" He just starts crying. Like that's like one of the top franchises you could get drafted.
No
to.
doubt. I mean, no doubt. It's a
Stability and success and a
great coach.
winning culture.
Yep. Winning
he also
culture.
has something in common with Woods, because when he was
A lot,
asked what he
actually.
is looking forward to most about San Antonio and Texas, he said
Groupies.
breakfast tacos.
Breakfast tacos are second to none. San Diego does it right. I am. It took me a year to get fully committed to leave Tex-Mex behind, because that's what I grew up with. And now I go home to see my family. My mom was like, "Y'all want Mexican food?" I'm like, "No, absolutely not. Don't waste my time." Breakfast tacos, though, is where we're severely lacking here in San Diego. You grew up here, Chris, in East County. East County. Chris grew up here, obviously in East County. What is your favorite Mexican food here, or where you live?
Well, I work down in the South Bay, and I'm a big fan of birria.
Oh
Birria's kind of taken over.
That
too
that
right
is
now.
really,
has.
you see that so many more places nowadays. That's the stewed meat. And
Yes.
sometimes it comes with a little dipping
Dipping.
consomme.
Oh my
You
God.
can
I did Birria tacos.
Yeah.
A couple months ago.
You say birria like I do.
Yeah, birria.
Birria.
Hey, y'all
Birria.
need to have them birria?
Birria.
Birria.
Ben.
Parati, bria, parati,
Better.
bria,
Yeah,
bria,
yeah.
parati, bria.
Better.
Getting a little better.
You're getting better.
I've been practicing.
You're very breakfast tacos.
Birria.
They're so good. We need them. We need somebody to take the reins here. And you got a customer for life here, man. I love them.
What's in a breakfast taco?
It's so I like a breakfast burrito. I do. Sometimes though, I'm like, it's too much. It's too big. It's the size of my arm. It's a little bit greasy. Breakfast taco, a fluffy tortilla, flour tortilla, eggs, little cheese, little strip of bacon, whatever, and little salsa, and you're styling. You're so done. They're so good. They're everywhere. Down in San Antonio and Austin has a place called Torchy's that are really, really good. I think you ate at Torchy's.
Went to
when you were there.
Torchy's, yeah.
Did you have the breakfast
Yeah,
tacos?
very good.
They're unbelievable.
Yeah.
We need something like that here. Ben and Woods breakfast tacos. We put our logo on the tortilla. Call
At
it
our
a day.
next enterprise,
Yeah.
as we continue to branch out our
Yeah,
empire.
we got a lot of things going here. Maybe a Discord. Maybe there's another thing somebody said in the chat. But yeah, so there you go.
Well, it was an interesting night. You had identical twins going
Birria.
4th and 5th in the NBA
Birria.
draft as well. Amen and Alcer Thompson, the Thompson twins, go 4th and 5th in the NBA draft. Hold me now, Doctor. That's a take on Woods category right there. Victor Wembanyama got all the hype yesterday, and now he gets to prove it and start his career with the San Antonio Spurs. All right, enough NBA talk. It is time for Padres wrap up. They won 10-0, so you can enjoy fully Jesse's highlights from yesterday's game as the Padres avoid getting swept.
World Series back on, everybody. World
Well, I
Series
can
back
make
on?
the argument.
Uncancel the parade.
I can make the
Uncancel the
argument.
parade.
I can make the argument that the Padres should be number 1 in the power rankings right now, based on how they're playing lately.
Did you take
I prefer if
peyote?
you didn't.
Did you take peyote before the show?
I
Not yet.
prefer if you didn't.
We'll come back to the
I feel like I see where he's going.
Padres wrap up. First, though, we're giving away those playoff tickets. The San Diego Legion are having an unbelievable season. They've only lost one game. They are going to be hosting the Western Conference Finals at Snapdragon Stadium on July 2nd. Tickets are on sale at sdlegion.com. But if you want to see Major League Rugby playoff action, call now. Be the third caller at 833-288-0973. 833-288-0973. Hook you up from the San Diego Legion next weekend, right before 4th of July. I think that's the Monday or the Sunday right before 4th of July. You can go see some San Diego Legion playoff action. We're back with our Padres wrap-up next year on Ben and Woods on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Sour on the Fan is brought to you by Cars.com. Whether you're looking for the perfect summer road trip car or something you can zip around in, visit Cars.com today. They have over 2 million cars for your 2 million summer possibilities. Head to Cars.com. Check out the possibilities. Cars.com. Where to next? On this program, the answer of where to next is our Padres wrap-up. It's amazing how often one big swing in the first inning changes the entire course of a day for a Padres team.
And a Padres fan.
Yeah, well, I mean, they're a completely different team. We've talked about this before. They don't score in the first inning. All of a sudden, they're probably in for it. Here comes one of those tough games. It's going to probably be an agonizing loss. They get a swing in the first inning like yesterday. They're going to add on. They're going to go to town. It's crazy how often the formula works, but you can't count on runs in the first inning every single game. You have to be able to win close ones and come back. Didn't need to yesterday. We'll get our Padres wrap up right after traffic here on 97.3 The Fan.
From the premier Kia of Carlsbad Traffic Center, part of the Premier Auto family, here's Kelly Tannick.
Guys, we still have this crash on northbound 5 near Civic Center, Harbor Drive. Looks like this is over to the right shoulder, very close to that right lane, and it is causing some slowing out of Chula Vista. So the Big O Tires alternate route, northbound side of the 805. Yeah, that's pretty clear from the border all the way up to the Golden Triangle. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben and Wood, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
I love winning, man. I love winning. You know what I'm saying? It's like better than losing.
Just when I thought I was out, they pulled me back in.
Miss any of yesterday's Padres game?
Did you catch a game last night?
Well, we've got you covered.
Thank you.
It's the Padres wrap-up with Ben and Woods.
Go! It's our house right here, baby.
Presented by Hamul Casino. With thrilling slots and tables and all the best rewards, Hamul Casino has all the fun you're looking for. Hamul Casino, fun above all else. On 97.3 The Fan.
That is the ball game, and that is a winner.
This about damn time.
Soto at first, Kim at second, 2 away. Here's the 0-1 pitch. That's it in the air to deep left center field. Slater and Johnson are both going back. They're going to look up. This one gonna go. A 3-run home run for Gary Sanchez. Oh, that snaps a big offer, and it's a big swing. Padres take a 3-0 lead.
Yes, sir, for the Padres.
4-game sweep in San Francisco, and Manny hits one in the air to deep left center field. Johnson's going to go back, but this one gonna go. Another 3-run home run. Sanchez in the first, now Machado in the third, and the Padres double the lead, 6-0. Pitch to Kim, launched to left field. Slater goes back. He's just watching. This one gonna go. A long homer to left field for Ha-Sung Kim. Third of the day for the Padres, and it's 7-0 here in the fourth. That's it hard on the ground through the right side, and a base hit for Cronenworth. Machado will come in to score. RBI single for Jacob. And the Padres with an 8-0 lead in the fifth. Tarsis as Cruz lines this one sharply into the left center field gap. That's going to get down, get a couple of more runs home. Sanchez rounding third. Cronenworth's right behind him. Nelly pulls into second base with a 2-run double. And 10-0 Padres in the fifth. And the pitch to Estrada is swung on and missed. Strike 3 gets him for the third time this afternoon. And Snell strikes out the side here in the sixth. Jairo Estrada has struck out all 3 times he's been up. Swings at the first pitch, pops it up. Foul ground, first base. Carpenter behind the coach's box. Backpedaling, he makes the catch, and the ball game is over. The Padres avoid the sweep. They end the Giants' 10-game winning streak, and they do so emphatically here this afternoon by a final of 10-0.
I think we have a good feeling every day. It's just executing it or not. Obviously, the first inning and, getting a couple 3-run homers in the first 3 helped. Runners in scoring position, a lot of good at-bats today. So, we show games where we can do this. It's just sustaining it. But I felt, after 3 tough losses like that, nobody went home too terribly happy last night. So it was good to see an early response.
Obviously, Bob Melvin happy about the win and not getting swept, mopped, as our Cespedes family barbecue friends like to say in a 4-game series. A note of exasperation, though? Like, why? I mean, he's just like the rest of us. I don't know. Why would my team do this? Why would they score 10 one day, but then unable to come up with just one big hit that they need in any of the other 3 games that were all very winnable. Padres could have mopped that series themselves against the San Francisco Giants.
Very well. I mean, very easily. They had the first 2 games were in control, games that they have some dicey pitching decisions probably cost us those games and a lack of guys you could trust in the bullpen. But man, you had every opportunity to wax the San Francisco Giants, and man, they came in red hot. Credit to them for getting the big hits when they needed to. But man, I feel like one of those things, and it's such a tired, trite sports thing to say, but we didn't lose that. Like, they didn't win that series, we lost that series, and I feel that way. I feel like we had all those games in hand. And but yesterday, and it can't take away from the absolute dominance that Blake Snell showed again yesterday. Just phenomenal. Late season Blake Snell has arrived way early. And I mean 2 months early, a month and a half early. He was spectacular.
We see this run in like August.
This is the July, August, September run for Blake Snell. He was massively impressive. Massively.
I was being tongue in cheek when I said the Padres #1 in the power rankings, but they had won 3 straight series going in, including taking 2 of 3 from the team with the best record in baseball, the Rays. Then they face one of the 2 hottest teams. I mean, the Reds have won 11 in a row, but the Giants, hottest team on the West Coast, certainly, and could have won all 4 of those games. They outscored them by a run per game, as it turned out in the series. When they
10 runs will help.
10-0 will help. I look back at the schedule, and the Dodgers, just like last season, the Dodgers have outplayed the Padres in both of the series in which they have met.
Yep.
I can't really say that about any other team that the Padres have faced. They've won series, they've lost series. The ones they've lost, they have been as good or sometimes better, and just for whatever reason gave away a game, couldn't finish out that last win. I can't tell you definitively that any team that I've seen head to head, though, other than the Dodgers, has outplayed the Padres in a series this year, which is crazy for a team that's 3 games under 500. How do you do that? How do you stay under 500 when you're never outclassed on the diamond? You really aren't. Every single game, every single series, you feel like, yeah, Padres should be winning this. They're right there. They have it for the taking, yet they continue to come up short. And this series was just an example of that. You outscore them, you win 10-0. I mean, I don't see the Giants doing that to the Padres anytime soon, yet you end up losing 3 out of 4.
Yeah, I mean, it's not college basketball. It's not college football. These are L's. Doesn't matter if it's a 1-run loss or a 10-run loss. You know, the Giants can come away going, great, we took 3 out of 4, you know, and that's how it went. But we got East County Chris in here. Lifelong Padres fan, I'm assuming? Lifelong. And what has been your experience this year as a lifelong Padres fan? Obviously, we probably didn't help with all the fluffing up of the Padres at the beginning of the year, but I don't think we were the only ones. I'm sure you were excited about this season too.
Oh yeah, like I was talking with my friends at the beginning of the year, like, man, this offense is going to be incredible. Like, they're going to score 8 runs a game.
Yeah, 7, 8 runs.
But also too, like I played college baseball. I know how frustrating the game is, and I tell my friends all the time, it's baseball.
Yeah,
it happens.
What position did you play?
I played in high school. I played infield, like shortstop, second. College, I played third. I got a little bigger, third, left, and then I caught.
Yeah, you're a big boy.
Year. So
very, very fit.
Thank you.
Way more fit than
so
we
you started middle infielder, then
slide to the corners,
then catcher.
Yeah. How what is the layman fan, the fan that really never played but really loves the game and knows the game, because you don't have to have played the game. John Clayton, the late great John Clayton. I doubt very much he ever put a hit on a running back cutting up the middle. I doubt John Clayton ever has
no
had
way.
a
He's
helmet.
one of the most fearsome middle linebackers the game's ever seen.
I don't know his history.
You should have seen Jeff Passan slug in high
Yeah,
school.
right. Yeah,
It's
Jeff
incredible.
It's Ray Lewis, Zach Thomas, and John Clayton. I mean,
Seriously, but those guys know the game. But you know, when you're behind the dish, it's so hard. I mean, it's just a hard position to master.
And it's one of those things where the game goes so fast.
So
back
fast.
there too.
So fast.
So you're trying to keep up. And I think the layman fan just watching on TV, I think technology makes baseball look so easy. Like
it does.
95 to 100 looks like, oh, I could hit that. But if you're standing there, you have, no time to even react.
You know, I caught at fantasy camp, and I caught when I was young, like in my teens and 20s, and it was tough. It was really, really hard. I got back there again in my 40s and was like, these guys are throwing 38 miles an hour, and this is still hard back there. But yeah, all the things that you got to know, all the things that you're in charge of behind the plate. It is certainly not as easy. And then you got to rip that gear off. You got to go up there, and then you got to go hit as well, and you got to produce offensively.
And then at the end of the game, your legs are done. You're
done.
up in the 8th or 9th, and you're hurting.
You're like, oh, please hit me. Please hit me with the pitch. Let me take my base.
So that's the thing. I think technology makes the game look so easy. You have a box there that
It's
shows
such
you
a
the
good
strike
point.
zone.
It's a really good
95
point.
looks like you have a whole second to hit, but when
Yep.
you're up there, if anyone just that complains about the game, just go stand up there on 90.
Go stand up there at 70.
Yeah, 70.
It's
a hard game.
It gets on you. It gets on you a lot. So you're probably a little more understanding with some of the struggles
Oh yeah.
that the team has gone through.
There's been times where you're hitting the ball good in BP and you're crushing the ball right at guys, and there's times where you're struggling and you go 4 for 4
Yeah.
with little bleeders, and you're just like, that's baseball.
That's baseball. That is baseball. I mean, it's an awful way to. You can't come on here every day after a loss and go, well, that's just the way the cookie crumbles. It's just baseball. But you do want to. There are things that guys can do better. There are things that guys are doing well right now on this team. And yesterday you need one of those every now and then. I did like Xander Bogaerts' comments after the game. He goes, "Hey, great, you figured it out. All you had to do was bench me." I mean, it was. There's something to that, right? There's something to switching it up a little bit.
I mean, that was my one request yesterday of Bob Melvin. I
mix it
said,
up.
let's see a little bit different lineup. I don't want to see Xander Bogaerts in the cleanup spot. He's struggling really badly. Maybe a day off for Xander. And what Bob Melvin ended up doing was moving Ha-Sung Kim to the leadoff spot. And while I don't know that that's an everyday solution, especially against a tough right-hander, yesterday against a lefty like Alex Wood, I liked Ha-Sung Kim there, and he rewarded the Padres by drawing a walk, which he's done more this season. Is his OBP was not necessarily his forte the first couple of years, but he's drawing more walks, hitting like 250. With the defense that he plays, Ha-Sung Kim has been a very valuable player. He gets on, and then the Padres end up getting the 3-run home run from Gary Sanchez to get things going.
Much needed.
There in the first inning. I mean, I think he was 0 for 21.
Yeah.
His last 21 before the 3-run home run. But that's why Gary Sanchez is still in there hitting fifth, because with any swing, he's at least a threat. Austin Nola is not a threat to do that on a given swing. He just isn't. And Gary Sanchez is. And that makes a huge difference to the pitcher that they're facing. Even if he strikes out, the stress of knowing if I miss this, he could hit at 450 feet is a different ball game for a pitcher than when you're facing Austin Nola and you go, if I miss this, he might hit a line drive single. And that's the worst thing that's going to happen to me. That's an easy at bat for the pitcher.
The only pressure a pitcher feels when Austin Nola steps into the box is, I better not walk this guy. That's the only. I better throw him belt high cheese down the middle. Don't walk this guy. It's like in playing in adult league, the guy that he's filling in, he's wearing jeans, and you're like, I've done it. I walked a guy, somebody's dad that had to fill in. I walked a guy in jeans. I'm like, you're the worst pitcher of all time. It's the only pressure you feel. Don't put a guy batting 130 on base, and you see that with the Giants pitchers. Another guy that had a really nice series is Trent freaking Grisham, man. 5 for 11 in the series, hitting some balls hard, not seeing a lot of dying quails, little bleeders that have dropped in. He's hitting the ball hard with authority. Really nice to see that from Trent. I mean, he's grinding. These guys are grinding. And Bob actually talked about, Kevin Acee wrote about this in his piece this morning. He said, we got guys grinding a little too hard, and I'm getting a little uncomfortable with the amount I'm playing some of the guys, right? Soto has started 74 games. Cronenworth 73. Tatis Jr. has started all 55 games since his belated season debut, Kevin says. And at some point, you'd like to be able to get the offense going enough where you could say, my man, take a breather, take a blow. You certainly don't want to sit a guy that's hot. You want to keep rolling him out there, but Jake Cronenworth, not really hot right now. Jake could use a day off to get his head right.
Yeah, it's that catch-22 that, if you keep playing and grinding these guys down, it's going to cost you. But when you drop the first 3 games to the Giants, it doesn't feel like the day to give Fernando Tatis Jr., take the day off, because, what's the worst that it can happen? Well, you get swept in a 4-game series. It's just you keep putting that pressure on yourself to win. And the later in the season you go, the more that pressure builds and the less time off you're going to have for your superstars.
Yeah, I agree. So we'll, if other guys, if Matt Carpenter was fully pulling his weight, if some of the other guys on the roster were fully pulling their weight, you could mix and match a little bit and give Crony a day off or give Soto even a day off. And these guys probably don't want out of the lineup, but I think Xander was very appreciative of getting a day off to clear his head, and we need him to get going. So we'll see how Bob manages it the rest of the way, but. Some of those guys were due. We're due for a big day. Gary Sanchez, setting the tone like that early, and of course, Manny getting that bomb to put it out of reach was amazing. And Blake Snell just giving no quarter.
The numbers
he gave
here
no quarter
for
yesterday.
Blake Snell. So remember, he had struck out 12 in each of his previous two starts. Got 11 in 6 shutout innings yesterday. That extends his scoreless inning streak to 18 consecutive scoreless innings. He's given up 1 run in his last 31 innings. That's a 0.29 ERA. The Padres are well on track to have both the National League Pitcher of the Month for May, which was Michael Wacha, and now June for Blake Snell. He's got one more start this month. Will happen on the next road trip, I think in Pittsburgh. And if he can have anything halfway decent, you'd figure he would be a massive favorite to win that award as well. So starting pitching has been very good for the Padres. And if Blake Snell can keep this up the rest of the season, man, he is on fire right now. Looking so good.
Needed it, and he needed it, and he's in a walk here.
It's nice to give him some runs, too.
It is. It's
then
nice
again,
to give him some runs.
That would be nice to have him pitch like that on the day, when the Padres need to win one of those close ones as well.
He's done that like 5 times.
And they end up losing in the end. They certainly have gone down that road as well.
No Blacob DeGrom yesterday. Came out, got some runs for him, and then he went out and held up his end of the bargain and then some. Had another dominant day on the mound for the San Diego Padres, and able to salvage win. Look, I know it's one game, and I know the last 3 games were terrible, and this doesn't really change much. It was nice. It was nice to get a dub. It was for your boys, Ben and Woods here. It was and East County Chris and Paul. Nice to get a dub to talk about on a Friday.
Do me a favor. Go ahead and look up at this camera and smile, because one of our wives, I won't say who, but one of our wives in the chat said East County Chris low-key hot.
Probably mine.
It was.
Probably.
Well,
he's got that inked up arm.
She heard you play baseball, and
it's cool.
Weird though. You couldn't drag her to one of my games for the last 7 years.
Padres have a few guys playing like all-stars. Will any of them actually be going to the game? Talk about that next, coming up here on 97.3 The Fan. Craig Elston coming up at the bottom of the hour. Friar Friday Management Report. CEO Eric Grupner will be here in 1 hour. Padres have been killing it at the box office. Is that going to continue? Is there any signs of slipping with the team 3 games under 500, or are they pretty much locked into sellouts the rest of the season? I mean, they didn't have a single non-sellout on their last homestand. Got to imagine this 3-gamer looking towards sellouts this weekend as well against the Nationals Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
I'll be there tomorrow.
Yeah, I'll be there tonight.
I'll be there tonight.
I wonder. I mean, why wouldn't you? Right? You still have players that you want to go see, and you got Fernando Tatis Jr. and you've got Juan Soto and Manny Machado. I mean, it's still star power on this team, and they're not playing up to their capabilities right now, but still a really good team to go and watch. And Musgrove on the bump tonight?
Yep, Musgrove.
I mean,
It's Patrick Corbin, I believe.
Bro, I mean, of course this place is going to be sold out on a Friday. Where else are you going to be on a Friday night in San Diego? It's going to be 70 degrees. And
I'm not disagreeing with you. I do know that, wins and losses make a difference in ticket sales for teams for the most part. There are very few, like the Cubs. Hey, we can be last place for 20 straight years and we'll still sell out every game at Wrigley Field. That doesn't happen that often, and quite frankly, I don't know that it should. Why would you support a team that is in last place for years and years and years and years?
It's the biggest question of fandom. Shouldn't you support, if you get out of your head, I'm supporting the owners by going to the games, instead of I'm supporting the players by going to the games. These are my guys, and I'm going to root for them. Like Chicago is a great example. Go to a game at Wrigley Field, and then you know why. You realize right then and there, oh, this is why this place is sold out. The whole experience is one you'll never forget in your entire life. You ever been to Wrigley Field, East County,
Nope.
Chris? Ben, have you ever been to a game at
I
Wrigley
have
Field?
been to a game at Wrigley Field.
Paulie, have you ever been to a game at Wrigley Field?
Never been to Chicago.
There's nothing like it. I mean, there's truly nothing like it. Middle of the day, even if it's against the Pirates and the Cubs are 40 games out, you're like, this is the greatest. I mean, we all saw Ferris Bueller. It's the whole thing. It's the Wrigleyville area. It just makes sense.
Went to a day game.
Yeah.
I think that's
went to a day game
the
too.
experience.
Yeah, going to a day game there's nothing like it. So I think if you can get out of your head, oh man, they have not put a winning product on the field, I'm not going to support the Ricketts family. But if you're there back in those days to support Ryan Sandberg, right? Like it kind of makes sense. Like I love these guys. They're my guys. I'm going to go out there and support. And I think with here, I think a lot of people say no, like Peter Seidler deserves for us to show up
Heck
at
yeah,
the
he does.
ballpark. And he does.
Like, yeah, the owner does right now, what he's put into this team. No doubt about it. And by the way, the players do too. They went to the National League Championship Series last year. They haven't lost anything yet this year. They've disappointed. They haven't met expectations, but they have not, they're not out of it. There's nothing that has been taken away that they can't get to yet. The season is the whole. It's 162 games. It's not 75 games. You have to play it all out before you can truly evaluate how a season went. But I bring it up. Well, let me quickly throw out the phone numbers because we got Take on Woods here in a couple of minutes. We need a contestant, try to qualify another listener. We've had 2 winners already this week on Take on Woods. You can be the third by calling 833-288-0973. Phone line open now, 833-288-0973, and hold on for a couple of minutes for our musical trivia game. I bring up the fans, though, because in the old days, Woods, you remember when you were a kid and you went to a ball game in early June, you would be handed what when you were in the stands? A little paper ballot with a little tiny punch out, and that would be the only place where you could vote.
So much fun
for All-Stars, and it was fun.
Spend the whole game as a kid just punching out the
nowadays, it's different. You go online, you can vote 5 times a day. It's completely different. But if this had been the old days with the Padres killing it, I think number 3 in attendance in all of baseball, my guess would be that you'd have a couple of guys that are tracking to vote in as starters for the All-Star game. Tatis, Soto. You'd have Padres fans like mad punching out those ballots when they go to the games, using that attendance power that they never had when I was growing up. I mean, it was hard enough to vote Tony Gwynn into an All-Star game because, Qualcomm Stadium was pretty empty.
Let me ask you guys a question. Has anyone in here voted yet?
Nope.
I did not vote. I did not vote.
I didn't either. I can't come on these airwaves and bitch about no Padres there. I haven't
But,
voted.
Yeah,
Let's all
so
do
the-
it right now.
Yeah, we'll vote.
It's
Everybody
too late.
log
Well,
in.
you can, but they've already gone to the finalists. So yesterday they announced the 2 top vote getters in each league are automatically in as starters, and that would be Shohei Ohtani and Ronald Acuna Jr.
Okay.
So they're both in, and then the top 2 at every other position goes on to a final vote. So they go back to 0, and then it's head-to-head. Or in the case of the outfielders, they have 4 guys for the last 2 spots. But the Padres were 5th and 6th in the voting. Soto and Tatis were dropped. So there are no more Padres you can even vote for the All-Star game anymore. They're all out. There will not be, unless there's an injury, there will not be a San Diego Padres starting the All-Star game for the National League in Seattle next month.
I remember a certain radio show in this town. I won't name names because I don't want to embarrass them. But going on the airwaves and saying, how many do you think we'll get? 4, 5? It was us. We did it. It was Ben. It was me.
I thought you weren't going to name names.
We did it. I was like, man, I mean, you could get 5, 6 guys in there. And there's going to be Padres represented at the All-Star game. You'll see Fernando Tatis Jr. at the All-Star game, I would imagine.
I would think so.
Not
I mean,
going to be starting.
So after the fan vote is completed, the players vote, reserves into the game.
Yeah.
And then the manager will finish out the selections of the last few guys, make sure every team has at least one representative. But I'm not 100% sure how many the Padres will get.
I think Juan Soto was very deserving of an All-Star game. I think Crony's going to have this year off for sure. And I think
Not going to be a
We thought that
three-peat.
last year too, and he
Yeah,
ended
true.
up going. Got hot in June,
Yeah.
and well, I had a couple
It
of
was an
injuries
injury
at second base,
replacement, yeah.
and he ended up going. But
Fernando Tatis Jr. I think is
Soto, Tatis, Waka.
By the way-
Snell with the Seattle connection. You think the players or the manager will vote him in,
done, right?
Haters
Probably give him a start.
Hader's certainly a possibility. He's got like a 1-something ERA and 19 saves, 18, 19 saves.
If I'm Rob Manfred, and I understand the suspension and everything else, doesn't really matter at this point. It's not like Marcelo Zuna, who we saw on video like punch his wife in the face. He'll be there. Okay,
it's I think it's the
he'll
opposite.
be there. But what I'm saying is, if I'm Rob Manfred, I'm saying, hey, I'd like a commissioner's pick for Fernando Tatis Jr. He needs to be there because he's good for baseball.
Right. It's not, hey, let's keep him out of the limelight to avoid any controversy. Hey, why is this steroid guy? No, they need him there. They need to start making sure that people are seeing that he's back and how well he's playing and he can be a face of baseball again. That's important for the sport. So I would fully expect Fernando Tatis Jr. to be there one way or another next month in Seattle. But yeah, the finalists are out, and there will be no Padres in the starting lineup likely for the All-Star game.
Yeah, somebody is mad in our chat. Not mad, but it's like, you guys didn't even vote. I will be 100% transparent. I've been too mad to vote. I've been too upset as a fan.
Same.
Yeah. Like, I'm like, oh, maybe you guys should just maybe you guys go get your head right in the cage. During the
One
whole-
player I want to see though get in is Hassan Kim.
Oh, would be
That'd be
amazing.
I think
dude.
Kim's kind of taken over like the Crony role. How
Yeah.
like Crony would play short, second.
Yeah.
Awesome defense.
He's so valuable.
Yeah, he's
so
valuable.
valuable. I would love to see him make an all-star team. I don't know that Manny gets in this year, which will be a bummer. But he's scuffled, he's
It's weird.
scuffled.
On the play on the field, he's not an all-star
Right.
this year. But it's also
Manny
can be a
Machado.
popularity contest, whether it's amongst the fans, the players, coaches. Josh Hader, Ben brought up earlier. He's a perfect example because everybody goes, oh yeah, I know Josh Hader. He's great.
But like
All-star.
Michael Harris, and listen, this is the fan vote. So the Braves fans came to the table. Michael Harris is not an all-star. He's not.
Just
He's barely played.
I think Chris brought up a really good point. If you look at the top 10 in WAR at second base so far in baseball, you got like a guy like Ozzie Albies at number 7 is obviously one of the leading vote getters. Tyro Estrada's at 5th. Ketel Marte is 3rd in WAR. Arizona Diamondbacks, they're having a good season. Luis Arias, guy's hitting 400. He's number 2 in WAR in second baseman in baseball, but the number 1 second baseman in WAR right now in all of baseball is Ha-Seong Kim.
Yeah.
Ahead of the 400 hitting Luis Arias. Ha-Seong Kim is number 1 in WAR. So absolutely you'd think that the guy who is leading all of baseball at his position and wins above replacement, should be an all-star, right?
Yeah, I would think so.
Good call, Chris. Yeah, Ha-Seong Kim needs to be in the game in Seattle next month. All right, we got some callers calling in at 7:10. Let's get to it. Woods, head on out. It's time to play. Take on Woods. We got Brian as our contestant today. Brian will try to qualify for our 2-night getaway to Resorts World Las Vegas and 2 tickets to see Luke Bryan, the 5-time Entertainer of the Year, headlining at Resorts World Theater from August 30th to September 9th. Tickets and VIP packages are on sale now at access.com. That's AXS.com and RWLasVegas.com. Good morning, Brian. How are you?
Doing well. How are you?
I'm good. All right. You got me, Chris, and Paul in studio. Woods is left. He doesn't hear this portion of the game. You go first. 5 questions of musical trivia, and then Woods comes back, and if you can beat or tie him, you will be in the hopper for our June drawing for the grand prize. You get to choose our category. Your little advantage in our game. Here are your choices. We got the periodic table. Elements will be featured in each song title. The mystery category. That means the 2-second song determines what the theme is. And then our new category is called Lie, Cheat, or Steal. Those are a mix of songs and artists that include one of those 3 words, lie, cheat, or steal. So of those 3, periodic table, mystery category, lie, cheat, or steal, Brian, what would you like to play?
Let's try the mystery category.
The mystery category. Okay. Just told you, as always, the song title from our 2-second song determines the theme for the remainder of the questions. So if you get that, it's helpful. If you're not, you can still take your best shot at all the answers. If you don't know one, say pass. We'll come back to it if there's time left. At the end, you need to give me both the title and the artist of our 2-second song. Remember to score that point. Brian, you ready to play?
I'm ready.
All right, 60 seconds on the clock, Paul. Your time begins when Paulie plays our music in the mystery category. Good luck, Brian. Let's take on Woods.
Get down, get down, get down, get down.
Jungle Boogie. I don't know who it's by.
All right. Which Beastie Boys hit is named after a certain kind of pre-mixed and bottled cocktail?
Brass Monkey?
Correct. Which 1982 song by Survivor serves as the theme for the movie Rocky III?
Eye of the Tiger?
Correct. Shake Me Down and Mess Around are just 2 of the 10 singles by which band to reach #1 on the alternative rock charts the past decade plus?
Pass.
Very much a one-hit wonder, the band Baltimora is known for which 1985 debut single based on an Edgar Rice Burroughs character?
Pass.
All right, let's go back to the 2-second song. You got Jungle Boogie. Who's the band?
Is it Casey and the Sunshine Band?
It's not. Good guess, though. Shake Me Down, Mess Around, 2 of the 10 singles by which band to reach #1 in the alternative rock charts in the past decade plus was Cage the Elephant. So it's Jungle Boogie by Kool and the Gang.
So close.
And then all the answers, something you'd find in the jungle. Brass Monkey, Eye of the Tiger, Cage the Elephant was the Shake Me Down band, and Tarzan Boy is Baltimora. So you ended up getting 2 of the 5, 2.5 really. We'll see if Woods can match that or beat it. All right, Brian's score is locked in.
All right.
Woods is on a 2-game losing streak. I don't think he's ever lost 3 in a row in this game.
I don't think so.
Just go 1-0 today. That's it, my friend.
Pressure is on. 60 seconds back on the clock. Your time begins when Paul plays the music. Good luck, Woodsy. Let's take on Brian.
Get down, get down, get down, get down.
Pass.
Which Beastie Boys hit is named after a certain kind of pre-mixed and bottled cocktail?
Brass Monkey?
Correct. Which 1982 song by Survivor serves as the theme for the movie Rocky III?
3. Eye of the Tiger?
Correct.
Oh,
Shake
God.
Me Down and Mess Around are just 2 of the 10 singles by which band to reach #1 on the alternative rock charts.
Cage the Elephant.
Correct. Very much a one-hit wonder. The band Baltimora is known for which 1985 debut single based on an Edgar Rice Burroughs character?
Pass.
Let's go back to the 2-second song.
Get down, get down, get down, get down.
Casey and the Sunshine Band.
That's what Brian said,
No.
and he was wrong.
I don't know the other one.
So you are. All right, well, you got 3. Cage the Elephant, the difference, a 3-2 win in our mystery category.
Mystery category.
So the song was Jungle Boogie by
Boogie.
Kool in the Gang.
Okay.
And then everything else you find in the jungle. Brass Monkey, Eye of the Tiger, Cage the Elephant, and Tarzan Boy is Baltimore.
I've never
You have heard the song
Play
in
it
the
for me.
Listerine commercial about 1,000,000 times.
Tarzan Boy.
You'll absolutely know it when Paul plays Tarzan Boy by Baltimore. You just didn't know the name of the band, as
No.
I figure. That's why the last one is oftentimes the
Yeah.
toughest one. Wait for it. The famous Tarzan Boy part.
I've never heard this.
You have. I promise you. Chris, what about you? Ever heard this before?
I've heard the
Baltimore?
song. I know it's from a movie that I've seen, but I can't think of it right now.
All right, just give it a second. Here.
Oh,
Uh,
yep. I knew that part. Yep.
Yeah, I know you've all heard it.
I've
I knew
heard
you'd
that.
all heard
Yep.
it.
Had no
Everyone
idea.
out there listening is nodding their head.
Yeah, like,
Hadn't heard of
oh.
Baltimore Tarzan Boy. No chance I've ever heard that song. And now you're going, yes, I've heard
Yep.
that song many, many, many times.
Nice to get back in the
In a
win
narrow
column.
victory,
Whew.
a one-run
Man.
win, as it were, for Woodsy on Take on Woods.
There's about 14 songs that start like Jungle Boogie. Really, I mean, a lot
Yeah.
of there's a lot of songs back then that started like that. So, whew, man, holy cow!
All right, Don't Do This is coming up next. We have some audio.
Yeah, I got some butt hurt Phillies radio broadcasters. They lost their minds about something pretty innocuous yesterday.
And for Do This, I was watching yesterday. Unbelievable game at the College World Series.
Got some audio of that too.
Amazing. We'll get to that coming up next with Ben Woods. Back after a check of traffic here on 97.3 The Fan.
Don't do this.
It's time for Don't Do This.
What were you thinking?
3 stories from the world of sports that make us all shake our heads.
Why? How many times do I have to tell you?
I'm sorry, I fudged up, guys.
You idiot. You moron.
The apple sometimes does fall from the tree.
Don't Do This
Do not tweet that.
with Ben and Woods
I like a Nickelback song or two.
on 97.3 The Fan.
Wood said you need just a moment to look something up. So I'll tell you, you can listen to all Padres games on your smart speaker. Just tell your device to play 97.3 The Fan. Okay. You ready now? Did
I am ready
Did
now,
I give you
yes.
long enough to look something up there?
Pretty damn good game yesterday in Philly. You'll call me when you get your phone.
Is that a good game?
Well, yeah. Well, it was 0-0 after 9.
I know. That's
I
what
mean,
I'm
they
saying.
were-
Is that a good game?
Yeah, Bryce Elder and Aaron Nola just dominating the opposition. I mean, it's pitcher's duel if you like pitcher's duel. So then Atlanta comes up in the 10th.
Yo, call me when you get your phone.
And Kyle Schwarber misses a fly ball.
The one run was in.
Yeah, one run in.
This would have ended the inning.
Yep.
It was. I mean, it wasn't the easiest play. He had to run in and make a kind of running catch at his waist.
Yeah, and he didn't.
But it's one you had to have.
Yep.
I think it was actually a rule to hit originally, which made all the runs that came after that earned. They changed it this morning to an error, which means now all the runs are unearned. But
So Philly's down 3-0. Atlanta is pouring it on. And Marcelo Zuna comes up, and this happens. Listen to the announcers, though, and how mad they get after he crosses third.
And the pitch to Ozuna. Swung on and blasted. Deep to left field, forget about it. 2-run homer, Marcell Ozuna. And the Braves with a 5 spot on the board here in the top of the 10th inning. Ozuna with his 14th home run of the season.
What's that? They're going to stop in the middle of the third baseline and do a
Ozuna
hand.
just now steps
That's
on a home
joke.
plate.
Ron Washington, that's just not professional.
Oh, God.
Stop in the middle of the third baseline so they can do a little hand dance.
What is a hand dance? Do you mean slap 5? Do you mean, yeah, like
Ron Washington, that noted new school,
yes, flashy, hip,
coach.
yes.
Can't believe that Ron Washington would disrespect the game like that.
I will.
These
A
young
hand
third
dance.
base coaches will never learn.
I will say that you never hear. You really don't.
What's that? They're going to stop in the middle of the third baseline and do a
Ozuna
hand.
just now steps
That's
on a home
joke.
plate.
Ron Washington, that's just not professional. Stop in the middle of the third baseline so they can do a little hand dance.
That's a joke.
Oh my Lord, they're so mad.
Yo, call me when you get your phone.
Stay mad, Philly. They'll never change, by the way. Never change. Keep being you.
So we did a couple of days there. We didn't do do this week. Let's make up for it
Mega doo-doo.
with 2 of them here on a Friday. I'll start with the College World Series. I was watching the game last night. Now, you would talk about a pitching matchup.
Yeah.
LSU and Wake Forest, winner take all, go to the championship series against Florida. Had their best 2 guys on the mound. Paul Skeens, absolute electric arm for the LSU Tigers. Rhett Lauder for the number 1 overall seed Wake Forest Demon Deacons. Both are projected as top 10 picks in the draft next month, and they were on fire. Just zeros after zeros after zeros. And like that Phillies-Braves game, went to extra innings. Eventually the starters had to come out. The first guys out of the bullpen were just as nasty. Went to the 11th inning.
Woo.
The Demon Deacons don't score in the top of the inning, so they go to the bottom of the 11th. Wake Forest brings in a new reliever. Very first pitch that he throws goes to one of the best players in the country, Tommy White. And here's what it sounded like.
Tommy Tanks.
Tommy Tanks.
Tommy Tanks.
Oh my God.
Did he get it? Did he get it?
Yeah, he got it.
Yes, he did. Tommy Tanks walks it off. And the LSU Tigers will face the Gators in the finals.
Love that sound.
The sound. Bing! So good.
An
College
incredible.
baseball is so fun.
So
man.
LSU had to beat Wake Forest back to back. They did. First team that's done that all season to get to the championship series against Florida. One of the better college baseball games you were going to watch
I want to hit a
yesterday.
walk-off so bad.
I mean, that's
Anytime. I don't care if it's at
probably like
fantasy
the best
camp.
moment of his life,
Yes,
right? I mean,
of course.
Of course.
It's that moment that you've rehearsed 1,000 times, and very few
So
get to actually do it.
It was kind of a hanging breaking ball over the middle, and Tommy was asked after the game. First question is, "What were you looking for there?" He goes, "Looking for a fastball. I didn't get it, but I just so much adrenaline. I just threw my hands at
Got
it,
it.
and boom, it went." And LSU is going to the championship series against Florida. That was due to this for sure.
We got East County Chris in here. He won our co-host for a day. Play college baseball. You ever get a walk off at any level?
I've had walk-off hits, but
Walk
not a
off hits.
walk-off
Never
home
a
run.
walk off bomb. I'll take a walk off hit.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, I'll take a walk off hit.
walk-off walk.
Walk off walk.
I've
Would
had
be
a couple of
fantastic.
those.
I'll be standing there and a walk-off block is fine. I'll take credit. I was
Yeah,
there.
yeah. That's
Bro, I
Maybe
thought
I
I was going to
distracted
get
the
one
pitcher.
at fantasy camp when we played the game at Petco Park.
Yeah.
We were tied in the last inning. We had our last ups. I was batting second. I had a guy in front of me that got on base quite a bit. I'm like, hey, man, you get on base. You got some speed. I'm taking the first pitch. You're
Yep.
stealing
Steal
second.
second and knock you
Knock, walk off
in.
win.
Would have picked
at
me up.
Petco Park.
You would have picked me up the win too.
Yeah.
because I blew it.
He struck out for the first time like all weekend. I popped out to right and I said, I hate this game.
I want it.
I hate
You
this
had to
game.
play it at least.
I want
Let's get
one.
sound
I
playing.
want one
God.
so bad. Speaking of Petco Park, they weren't there yesterday, but we love our Mud and Dawn, right? We love our Mud Cat, and he was. I'll just say he was
He
very.
loves home runs.
He. Did you hear this?
I did.
He really
loves home runs, like maybe more than
I
anything.
think it was Sanchez, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it was that.
Talk about
release.
Goodwood. Oh, yeah.
Like, what was that?
What'd you say?
Talk about Goodwood. Oh, yeah. He got him. Take a listen. Oh,
Is that a drop winner
That's
for
going to
next
be
year?
a drop forever.
take a listen. Oh,
He'd been abstinent for a few days.
He
He
had.
needed a moment. Like that. Big Padres home run.
Now,
Sounds familiar.
who did it better? Mudcat Grant, Ben Higgins.
oh.
I would guess that I would.
Oh.
Somebody just walked in the studio with a burrito or
Yeah,
something,
that sounds like the noise I make.
donuts or something. Oh,
Oh.
just got a visual that I did not.
That is don't and do this for a Friday.
That was Don't Do This with Ben and Woods on 97.3 The Fan.
Crossing Streams Friday. Craig Elston from the Sockers. In stereo. I
On
like
top
it.
of each other. Never mind.
Join us with his recommendations. Talk some Padres. Coming up next with Ben and Woods on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Sound on the Fan brought to you by Cars.com. Whether you're looking for the perfect summer road trip car or something you can zip around in, visit Cars.com today. They have over 2 million cars for your 2 million summer possibilities. Head to Cars.com, check out the possibilities. Cars.com. Where to next? Where to next for us? Greg Elston, Crossing Streams, our Friday TV recommendations right after this check of traffic on 97.3 The Fan.
From the premier Kia of Carlsbad Traffic Center, part of the Premier Auto family, here's Kelly Tannick.
Just a couple of hazards to watch out for. Northbound side of the 15 before El Cajon Boulevard, reports of some debris in the slow lane. And looks like a pickup truck bedliner in the HOV lane south on 15, just past Miramar Road. And Kelly Danik with Ben and Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
All right, Craig's logging into Zoom, so we'll get him in just a second. Talk some more Padres, preview the series against the Washington Nationals. I've already came up with our $10 bet for the weekend that Woods is going to need to make a decision on. But when you do, here's your over-under for the weekend. I know you like to see how former Padres fare against the Friars. C.J. Abrams and Mackenzie Gore both expected to see action in this series. I think Gore is scheduled to pitch on Sunday. So it's Abrams hits plus runs batted in, plus Mackenzie Gore strikeouts in his start. And I set the over-under at 11.5 of those three things combined. You don't have to decide now.
So
If you
like
want to
a-
start
like a parlay?
RBI.
Yeah.
Mackenzie Gore's K's over under 11.5. I'll
Yeah.
take the over.
Figured probably.
Yeah, I'll take over on that. Yeah. You take under?
I take under. Because I think when Gore pitches, they're going to have the same lineup they did yesterday. And that righty lineup only had 6 strikeouts yesterday.
That's a good point. But Gore gets 3.
Abrams had a home run in the series in Washington against the
did.
Padres.
He's not playing
You
well,
can get
though.
you can get like 4 on one swing. He gets a
You could.
3-run homer. That's 4 on one swing. That's a hit plus 3 RBI. So, you know,
I'm going to roll with my man here.
you're not
He's
going
County
under.
Chris. I'm going to take the under.
You're changing to the
Changing.
under.
Yes,
All
I'll
right.
take the under.
Means I set a good over under.
You
All right,
did.
let's go out to our premier
always
Chevrolet
do.
of Carlsbad fan hotline. We are joined by Craig Elston from the Crossing Streams podcast and the San Diego Sockers. And I have to congratulate Craig. I saw the Sockers added, I think, the newcomer in the year from the Indoor Soccer League last year, MASL. Is that correct, Craig?
Yeah, Gabriel Costa played actually for the Sockers rival Empire up in Ontario, California. Incredibly strong on both of his feet, very skillful Brazilian midfielder who was then one of the captains of the team that won the soccer tournament, the 7v7 $1 million winner-take-all tournament in North Carolina at the start of this month. He was teammates with Tavoy Morgan on that team of the Sockers. I've just got to imagine that friendships and connections were made. And yeah, I think Costa is going to be a really big addition to the San Diego Sockers in the winter.
Now, we've heard I don't know about you, Craig, but another team we know and love has added some stars, and it doesn't always work, right? I mean, there does need to be some chemistry, and guys need to perform. Are you worried now about, too many maybe egos in the Sockers clubhouse?
No. I think it's cool. I mean, from the soccer standpoint, to answer it more seriously, like, this is a team that most everyone on the team has either won at least 2 championships together, or they've played together for years, or both. So when you've got that level of everyone knows each other, and then you add like one guy in, it's actually really nice because things are fresh and new for that guy, and it makes things fresh and new for everybody else. I think that'll be that's more of the flavor of Sockers, though, is there's a lot of consistency, a lot of guys who've been there for a long time. So maybe 4 years from now, it'll be like that for the Padres when all of the guys on long-term extensions are here for the 4th and 5th year of those extensions.
And obviously indoor is different. There's more to go around, right? It's more high scoring than regular soccer, but in regular football, I mean, 1 maybe 2 goals a game. You gotta be discerning about
and then
who takes the shot.
The star, gets the penalty kicks as well.
Yeah,
so they're
yeah.
going to get a whole bunch of goals that other guys don't even get a chance at. That's, it's tough to break through if you're trying to make your way up in an outdoor soccer league. Speaking of guys with 2 championships, Xander Bogaerts brought a couple of rings with him to San Diego, was benched yesterday, Craig, and I just wanted to get your take on what you think's kind of been going on. Is it simply the wrist injury? Did the Padres make a massive mistake with their signing of Xander Bogaerts, or is this simply, hey, he's not playing at 100%, but we've got to be patient here with the guy's always been really, really good in Boston. He might drop off in a few years, but he didn't just fall off a cliff when he came to San Diego.
He literally fell off the truck and landed on his wrist.
Yeah.
When they dropped him off from Boston. No, I'm glad you went this direction for kind of the Padres part of our chat, Ben, because I know it's been a tough week for you guys doing the show, coming off of 3 completely miserable losses and then a win that pissed me off just as much yesterday in terms of being.
Bob Melvin had sounded the same way.
Bob Melvin sounded the same way, like, I guess.
Oh, Lord, jeez.
Yeah. Of course, we'll say winning the run differential for the series. That's what really gets me. Is like I think you don't get a trophy for that. You get
by
like
a run per
certificate.
game.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's ridiculous. But the reason I say that is I know so many people, are piling on the manager because that's literally what the manager is. He's a pain sponge. He's somebody whose position is designed to absorb criticism, or they're going all the way up to, AJ Preller, tear down the village, etc. Let's look at some specific players who are just not getting the job done. And in Xander Bogaerts' case, I mean, I looked at the slash lines, and sometimes it helps for context to put a name to it, something you remember. Xander Bogaerts essentially has hit exactly like 1998 Chris Gomez this year. And Chris Gomez is a beloved shortstop in Padres history for being steady and clutch at the bottom of the order, which Bogaerts has not been, and getting to every ball. But he's not a guy you pay $28 million to hit in the middle of the order. If Xander Bogaerts is hitting like Chris Gomez, he should bat where Chris Gomez bats, which is in the bottom of the order. As a 4-hitter, he's been murdering the Padres with double plays, pop outs, weak contact, ending rallies that were flourishing. All right. I've got another for you. Jake Cronenworth so far this year has hit 211, 311, 357. Okay. Here's another player in Padres history that hit 231, 301, 344. Those numbers are almost the same, right? They're basically the same. 10 points deviation maximum on any of those. Second player is Brad Hopp with the Padres in 2011. Okay. When we remember like bad players on the Padres, we bring up Brad Hopp as a joke. Brad Hopp kind of at least in average has out-hit Jake Cronenworth performance-wise this year. Cronenworth is batting behind Bogaerts and killing rallies. And when we see that this team right now today is the worst runner in scoring position team in literally the history of baseball, all the teams that have ever played the game, like, is that Bob Melvin's fault? Here's 2 guys in the middle of the order that I think are like 1 for their last 21 with runners in scoring position. Why do you think they're not consistent? There it is.
It's such a good point, and it's a bummer to hear, because I was excited when they got Xander. I was excited when they extended Jake. I ran into AJ Preller the very next morning. We had happened on a Friday. Went to the Little League fields. He was literally there scouting a kid. Not a little leaguer, but he was throwing on those fields. And I talked to AJ that morning, and I said,
but would we have all been stunned to learn that AJ Preller was scouting an 11-year-old?
Yeah, I got a 4th grader we're got our eyes on.
I ran into him, and we chopped it up, and I said to him, hey, man, congrats on, getting Crony locked up. And he just had this smile on his face, and he said he deserves it. He deserves it. And I said, yeah, he feels like a Padre to me. But man, it's you see other teams, Craig, kind of make those decisions, the tougher decisions. And right now, hindsight being 2020, it wouldn't have been a tough decision to not extend him. But hopefully he can pull out of it. But I love him. I think he's a great dude. But that said, we're also trying to win a World Series here. So moving guys down in the order, you got to have somebody to take their place, right? If you can move Xander down in the order or Crony down in the order, who do you move up in the order? I think Ha-Seong Kim in the leadoff yesterday was a nice little change of pace and obviously worked out for the Padres, but you're going to have to move some stuff around.
And you've just said the name. You led me right to it because you're 100% right, Woods. I can't come up and offer something without offering a solution. And that solution is Ha-Seong Kim. Ha-Seong Kim, over the course of the last month, has been maybe other than Soto, the Padres' best player at getting on base. Getting on base is what you want. We want players on in front of Tatis and Soto and Machado because all three of them are clicking to some level right now for the first time that in all of 2023. So it would be beautiful to have somebody getting on consistently in front of Ha-Seong Kim. We've focused for a long time on what Ha-Seong Kim can't do or couldn't do in terms of high velo fastballs, in terms of a bit of a platoon advantage. I think if there's ever been a time to give a guy a chance in a meritocracy type of way, it's to put Kim at the top of the order, let him go up there and try and succeed, and allow Tatis, Soto, Machado to lock into 2, 3, 4 below that, or you want to go Soto, Tatis, Machado, do whatever you want, but put the next three guys in order below that. Then you could maybe have Odor, Cronenworth, Bogarts. You're lengthening the lineup in a different way. And here's the last point I want to make on this. Why do you have to have it both ways with the Padres organization? Usually you're either courting a player and massaging how you're handling him because he's an impending free agent or somebody that or you lock somebody up to a long-term deal. The Xander Bogaerts is here for 11 years. We don't have to treat him with kid gloves. Jake Cronenworth is locked in. If they're not performing, and it's not a knock like I dislike these people, I wish they weren't here. They're not performing. Let the performance dictate it. Drop them down in the lineup. What are we worried? They don't have an opt-out clause.
Yeah, they can't leave. They can't leave.
As I pointed out, Ha-Seong Kim leads all second basemen in baseball in WAR. Just ahead of the guy who's hitting 400 right now for the Miami Marlins. Kim is even ahead of him. He's having a great season. You mentioned those extensions and guys who can leave. We'll just have a minute here because I want you to be able to get to your recommendation. But Blake Snell, would you open extension talks with him right now? I mean, for Blake, it's striking while the iron is hot. For the Padres, it's all right. The price just went up probably in the last month considerably compared to what you could have got him for if he had opened those negotiations in early May.
Yeah, it's probably a moot point because knowing Snell's representation, I think he's going to free agency. I've had the nagging suspicion he'll be a Seattle Mariner as a free agent for a long time. And I just wouldn't be surprised if it played out that way. He is now pitching that career free agency entering year that we had dreamed that he would do. And I think my answer is no. I think if possible, we discuss it, look at the parameters of it, but that's buying high. That's been AJ Preller's number one league, is buying top of market, buying the glitteriest thing in the window. We know what Snell is, all of it. This is part of it. I hope he has an incredible year and propels the Padres to the playoffs.
It's not the
I still
worst.
think he's gone next year.
It's not the worst thing to enjoy a guy's free agency push year and then say thank you.
Thanks for your
good luck. Just enjoy it. He's
right.
here now. Enjoy how well he's pitching, Padres fans. All right, Craig, let's get to the Crossing Streams recommendation. This one, kind of an oldie but a goodie.
And in fact, Black Mirror had been away for 4 seasons. Charlie Brooker's dystopian technology-laced homage to the Twilight show, anthology show on Netflix. So people thought that Black Mirror was done, but a 6th season came out just last week. 5 episodes, kind of in that British tradition. You know, some of the seasons of Black Mirror seasons are 3 episodes long. I thought this season of Black Mirror was not only maybe the best season or one of the best seasons, but in many ways one of the most creative as well. And the thing about Black Mirror, again, every episode is different, right? Every episode is a different story, a unique story. That's why everyone always compares it to the Twilight Zone as kind of the modern Twilight Zone. And quite often, Black Mirror would be like, here's how technology could change and then ruin your society and life. The new season is quite different in some ways. First of all, the first 2 episodes are direct attacks on Netflix's influence on society on a Netflix show. And the first one, called Jonah's Awful, is one of the best episodes of Black Mirror I've ever seen. The final episode, which is called Demon 79, is actually a short movie, which is kind of like almost an homage to old 70s horror, but it's one of the funniest episodes I've ever seen. Consistently made me laugh. I've watched the whole season. I would say skip episode 4 entirely, but episodes 1, 3, and 5 are spectacular and really worth the watch. Black Mirror on Netflix. You've heard of it. Go watch it.
Chance to catch up if you haven't done so before.
I believe my wife's a big Black Mirror fan.
I love the show.
I have not watched it yet.
It's a lot of
Some
fun.
great stuff. Great casting this year too. Incredible stuff.
And
Craig,
the bear is back.
the Bear is back.
The Bear is back.
So good.
I'm about to start that, but Woodsy said last. I was almost going to turn it on, and I remember what Woodsy said.
can't.
Don't watch it when you're trying to fall asleep. It's
No.
just
It's
too hectic.
anxiety.
I watched the finale of season 1 yesterday to kind of refresh.
Yeah.
And I'll watch season 2, episode 1 today.
Craig, have a good weekend. Thank you.
You too. Talk to you next week.
There he is, Craig Elston on our Premier Chevrolet of Carlsbad fan hotline. Save money the right way with Premier Chevrolet of Carlsbad. Visit them today in the Carlsbad Auto Mall. Chevrolet, find new roads. Mando in our chat says, is Ben really comparing Ha-Seong Kim to Luis Arias?
No,
I'm not. I'm just looking at the numbers, and they say that Ha-Seong Kim has been better than Luis Arias this year in overall
defense
value.
is way better.
Yeah, I mean, defense is part of the game.
Yeah, it is.
Now, offensively, who's the better player? Arias, of
Yeah,
course.
he's amazing.
But, defense is another part of the game, and you can believe completely in war or not, but an objective metric says that Ha-Seong Kim is having a better season than Luis Arias. I take that with a bit of a grain of salt. I mean, the Padres could use the offense of an Arias right now pretty badly, but I just wanted to make sure everyone knew how good of a season Ha-Seong Kim is having. He's not like, oh yeah, he's okay. He's number 1 at second base in the entire league in wins above replacement.
Yeah.
He should be going to the All-Star game.
Yeah, it's good. He's a good player. Good player.
All right, we'll come back. It's 8 o'clock. It's a Friar Friday. The CEO of the Padres, Eric Grupner, slated to join us. That is coming up next on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful Friday out there, San Diego, fresh off a win, halfway home on Ben and Woods, 97.3 The Fan. I'm Woodsy. Got our buddy East County Chris, a chance to co-host for the day.
You got to come up with a question for Eric Group.
Oh,
Chris as well.
Just crush it.
Yeah,
just crush it. We won't, so you need to.
It's gonna be tough.
Yeah, think about it. Think about
hold
it.
his feet to the fire.
hold his feet
because
to
you
the
know we
fire.
won't.
Yeah, we're
as
not
the
going
fans
to.
will
We're soft.
obviously accuse us of being soft shills.
Yes.
I will point out that the Padres are home this weekend to the Washington Nationals. You can pretty much chalk up another 130,000 or so in attendance, adding to a total that I think is still top 3 in baseball right now. Padres have set a franchise sellout record, and we're not even to the All-Star break. And joining us right now is the CEO of the San Diego Padres, Eric Grupner, back with us here on 97.3 The Fan. Eric, good morning to you.
Good morning. How you doing, guys?
We're doing good. I mean, you were in deep trouble if they lost that game yesterday. I'm telling you right now, like I was at home, I was twirling my mustache, I was like rubbing my hands together. It is just one win, but it was a nice one. You get a happy flight, get the guys up.
Yeah.
It was so needed, Eric, and we know how hard the guys are grinding. It just hasn't really clicked yet, man, which is kind of a surprise. I'm sure you're surprised as well.
Yeah, look, I think, those first 3 games in San Francisco were about as tough of 3 losses consecutively as you're going to see, in baseball. We got up, pitching was good first couple of games, and we got to score more runs. We got to put teams away. And then obviously the back end of the bullpen, which to this point in the season has, been overall, really good. Couldn't close it out. Obviously, you got the controversial call in Game 3.
That was fun,
and it ended up determining the outcome. So you're frustrated at that point, right? I mean, everybody's frustrated, and I know the fans are frustrated. Our fans are amazing. The reason I wanted to come on today is I just wanted more than anything to say thank you to the fans for the support they've been showing us at home. You mentioned our 27th sellout already this year. Tack onto that two more that we had in Mexico City, where we were technically the home team, and we would have sold those games out at Petco Park against the Giants as well. Just incredibly thankful right now for our fans, and our fans, they deserve better. And I know Bob and our players are very aware of that, especially how they play at home. Bob's spoken about it recently. And our guys care, they really, really care. And they're working hard. And the good news is, we're coming home. We got an opportunity to play 3 games against the Nationals, get on the road and play the Pirates and make some hay here, and get back to 500 and then, make a run from there. And that's the goal. That's the plan. And, we got a lot of talent on this team. You saw it on display yesterday. We just need it more consistently offensively, and we need to continue to do the things well that we've been doing really well, which has been starting pitching, playing elite defense, and then that bullpen continuing, especially the back end, to be strong and close out games. So, that's the recipe, and we know how to do it. We just need to do it on a more consistent basis than it's been done to this point.
Eric, Peter Seidler told us that, part of the plan of putting more into the roster in terms of salary is he wants to win a World Series championship, but he also feels like winning is the best way to bring fans to the ballpark. And I've seen recently, I think it's just kind of speculation from some national writers that if the Padres don't, start playing better and make a postseason run like they were expected to, that could be real trouble, financially for what was being planned for the Padres. Can you address that? I mean, is it a disaster if the Padres don't make a playoff run and a deep playoff run, considering the resources committed to this year's roster?
No, definitely not a disaster. And I think that you're right about Peter's vision. He certainly wants to deliver. We all do. The first World Series championship, first major professional sports championship to San Diego, and our fans, they deserve it. We have some of the best fans in all professional sports. And I think they're showing up this year. The number of sellouts, the attendance that we've had is a testament to that. So first and foremost, you're spot on. Everybody's spot on when, you know, they talk about the desire and why we're doing what we're doing. But no, it would not be a disaster. You know, obviously to miss the playoffs, and we're nowhere near talking about that at this point. I can understand why people are bringing it up, but you know, we still have 87 games left to play. Season isn't even halfway over yet. And, you know, a lot can happen. I think you tweeted the other day, Ben, that, you know, the couple of the most recent World Series championship teams had very similar records at this point in the season. Now, that's not to say that we like where we are right now, or we wanted to be here, or we wanted to be facing that comparison. Certainly not. But I think it proves the point that there's a lot of baseball left to be played here. And this is a very talented team with great leadership. And I think it absolutely has the opportunity to go and play better, more consistent baseball over the remaining 87 games. And then, you know, we'll talk about where we end up at the end of the season once the season is over. But, you know, we've planned for all different outcomes this year, as we always do. We budget for all different outcomes. So I would say that is 100% false that, you know, if we don't make the playoffs or make a deep playoff run, then it would lead to some financial disaster for the Padres.
Talking to Padres CEO Eric Krupner here on Ben and Woods this morning. Certainly appreciate the time. And, you know, I think we've said it before, losing breeds contempt. It does. And whether it's in the fan base or shoot, even in the clubhouse, right? I mean, if things can go bad, you know, go south really quickly, Eric, I wanted you to speak on, at least, I know you're part of and your job with the San Diego Padres, but culture has been a word that gets thrown around a lot when you drop 3 straight games. The culture of this organization is wrong. What are your thoughts when you hear things like that and you see people tweet stuff like that?
Well, first of all, you know, we've got really engaged fans that really care, and they're watching the games and they care about the outcome. They want us to win. They expect us to win, given the talent that we have in this team. And those are all really great things. Wouldn't want it any other way. Apathy is a place that I think we had been for a long time as a fan base. Expectations were low. I think winning and losing, therefore, didn't mean as much, and there were not as many fans that were engaged with the team. So it's good. You know, look, I feel the weight of it. I know everybody else in the organization does. There's not many jobs you can do where you show up and, you know, most days during the season, the company you work for either wins or loses in a very public way. And, you know, so look, we feel it the same way the fans feel it. You know, our front office, the people that work for the Padres are as big a fans as anybody. And so we get it. We feel the same way. You know, we feel disappointed when we lose. We feel disappointed when we feel like, you know, the team isn't playing up to the level that it's capable of, or the expectations that we all have for this team. So I get it. And I just am thankful that we have fans that are engaged. Culture, is that an issue? I don't think so. I believe that we've got, once again, as I mentioned earlier, you know, really strong leadership on this team. Not only a manager and coaches that collectively played for, you know, countless decades at the major league level and then coached or managed at the major league level, but also a lot of veteran players that have been around and are widely recognized as, you know, great leaders, whether that's Nelson Cruz, you know, or Matt Carpenter, a couple of guys that we added this year, or some of the guys that we already had on the team. So look, you know, when you're winning, everything smells great and it's coming up roses. And when you're losing, and when you're losing in, like, you know, gut-wrenching fashion, which is what happened 3 out of the 4 games up in San Francisco, you know, everything's wrong, right? And I think one of my favorite sayings that I've heard working in baseball is that, you know, you're never quite as bad as you think you are. You're never quite as good as you think you are as a team. And that gets proven out eventually over 162 games. So I'll just say to the fans, we got 87 more to go beginning tonight at home, and keep showing up, keep supporting us, keep unfortunately feeling the losses, but enjoying the wins as well, and stick with this team. And, you know, we're going to ride together for the rest of this season. And I think we're going to have better baseball. I think our best baseball is ahead of us. And I think the fans are going to be happy that they've continued to stick with this team as they were last year in our postseason run. And that was a really special moment. And that's what sits out there for you if you remain together, you grow as a team, with the extra wild card spot, you just got to get in. And when you get in, if you're hot and you're healthy, anything can happen. It was us and the Phillies in the National League Championship Series last year. And, we unfortunately fell a few wins short of World Series, but that's what's out there for us. And, but we got to go play better and more consistent baseball over the next 87.
How hard is it talking to Padres CEO Eric Grubner? Now, and again, I know that you're not the one making the the on-field and baseball decisions and things like that, but how hard is it? And I know you said you plan for a bunch of different outcomes, and I'm sure AJ Preller does as well, and Bob Melvin and all the guys. But if it continues, kind of win one, lose one, win two, lose two, if it kind of continues on this pace, Eric, the temptation to try to drastically alter the team at maybe the trade deadline or something like that, that would kind of go against the plan, I would imagine. Or is that, no, that's an option because the plans have changed? How difficult is that for you guys and for AJ Preller to look at it and say, hey, man, we may have to make some drastic moves?
Yeah, I don't, those discussions have not happened to this point, and I imagine won't be happening, anytime soon. I think,
right.
There's still, like I said, a lot of baseball to be played, but, ultimately those are, Peter's decision with really, a ton of direction from AJ, and they have a great working relationship. And, if we get to that point, we'll talk about it organizationally. If we get to a point where we feel like we need to add a piece at the deadline, or where we are at that time will determine the decisions that are made. And I think, over the course of his tenure as the general manager of the Padres, I think AJ's always shown a willingness to be aggressive and to make moves, that sometimes have reshaped the team. I don't really see that happening this year, just because the team is already, I think, pretty complete. There's some areas where I think we've identified some needs for sure, some of which we've already, addressed during the first half of the season. You look at a guy like Gary Sanchez and, and also Rougned Odor going into the season, even a couple of guys that we've picked up that have been pretty big pieces for us and for our offense. And so, I don't really see this team being drastically remade. I just don't, we've got a lot of guys under long-term contracts right now that, we're committed to, that we feel are key building blocks for this team for more than just this season. But that'll ultimately be a decision that, when we get to the point where that decision needs to be made, it'll be, be made by Peter and AJ, and, we'll talk about it as an organization, but, we're not there yet.
Talking to Padres CEO Eric Grubner in our chat, Satan's Blowfish says, how dare Eric have these calm, reasonable takes?
That's from Satan's Blowfish.
Satan's Blowfish, yes. So you're very frustrating to some people, I think, right now, Eric. So we have guest co-host Chris in the studio. He actually won his chair today at our golf tournament, or bought it from the guy who won it. And as a co-host, he gets to ask a question of the Padres CEO. Do you have your question
Are you ready?
lined up here, Chris?
Well, Woodsy kind of stole my question.
Oh,
about
I'm
the
sorry.
trade deadline,
I do that.
But I got one more thing I was thinking about this year. Rob Manfred said at the beginning of the year that the Padres would be revenue sharing, but I was kind of surprised with the whole Bally situation. Could you explain, has the Bally situation affected that revenue sharing that the Padres were going to be involved in?
I can't believe you asked that question.
Oh my gosh.
That's
Good
good
question.
question.
Good question.
That's a great question, Chris. In fact, the best question I've received.
Oh, wow. Okay. All right. I'd like to dive more into that culture combo.
No, that's a good question. That's a good question, Chris. Yeah, we have the way revenue sharing works in baseball is, each team obviously keeps a lot of the local revenue that they have generated, and we all have 81 home games, and then media rights revenue is another piece that's pretty significant. So yeah, despite getting a bit less under our media rights contract this year than we were contracted to get, we still expect to be a revenue sharing payor for the first time in franchise history. And that's a testament to the support that we're receiving from our fans in our market, because far and away the single largest source of local revenue that we have is our gate revenue. And, we're projecting to sell out 56 of our 81 home games this year. And, you mentioned it at the lead, but, we're number 2 in attendance in baseball right now. And I would expect that we're going to continue to be in that top 3 through the end of the year. And that, on the power of kind of our fan support, we've been able to increase revenue, and that's a good thing. And that's part of the plan. And that allows us to more consistently year in and year out support, a higher payroll level that puts a championship caliber and winning baseball team on the field. So go ahead.
No, I was just going to say I'd be foolish to try to follow that up after the best question that you've gotten ever from the show.
Actually, I'm glad
our
that
guest co-host.
I'm glad that you're looking at revenue sharing as such a positive, because I tried to get Ben to revenue share with me and
not very successfully. No,
it's like pulling teeth.
I've pushed back on that.
Yes.
Eric, appreciate the time as always. Thank you for joining us this morning. Hopefully a good weekend here for the Padres and a strong finish into the All-Star break.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Thank you,
Appreciate
sir.
the time.
There he is, Eric Krupner, CEO of the Padres, and our Premier Chevrolet of Carlsbad fan hotline. Save money the right way with Premier Chevrolet of Carlsbad. Visit them today in the Carlsbad Auto Mall. Chevrolet, find new roads. Doesn't that tell you, though, everyone who said, if they don't make the playoffs, doom and gloom, they're going to be paying into revenue sharing. That means they're making money, right? I mean, that means they're bringing in a lot of revenue.
Make no mistake, though. If they don't make the playoffs, it's devastating. Maybe not to the bottom line, but it sucks. It's devastating to the fan base.
Well, emotionally.
Well, yeah. I mean,
I don't think.
What do we care? I'm not getting a nickel.
I think it's more like there won't be a fire sale.
Right.
It's not tear it all down.
I mean, if the Padres miss the playoffs, which is absolutely a possibility given their slow start, but they come back next year and, pretty much same team, but retool and go, hey, we're going for it again. I think Petco Park's still going to be packed next year. I don't think people are all
agree more.
Suddenly going to say, I'm never getting season tickets to that team. I mean, this is still an exciting team that people like to watch.
Well,
it's disappointing, but you don't want to miss out on when they put it all together either.
No question. There's no question about it. But he wasn't saying it doesn't matter. He was saying like financially as the question you asked him, because that was something they were talking about on a national level. Oh man, this is going to just decimate the Padres. And based on what Peter has said to us and other people, and based on what Eric just said, it's not going to. Now it's going to gut our souls. Our souls are going to be puddles on the floor. Like it's going to be. I'm taking a week off after the season if that happens.
But at least we'll have money to sign Shohei Ohtani.
But at least we can go get Shohei Ohtani. Exactly. Watch him come in here and hit 220 and 7 ERA.
Tommy John surgery.
Tommy John.
All right, if you want to join us, 833-288-0973. It is a Friar Friday. Padres coming home to face the Washington Nationals for 3. Your thoughts on the series that just ended as well. All coming up with Ben and Woods. We'll be back after a check of traffic here on 97.3 The Fan. Thanks again to Padres CEO Eric Grupner. Just joined us on a Friar Friday.
Love the group, dog.
Going until 10 o'clock. He is smooth. There's no doubt about it.
Is that why you think, like, I couldn't be a CEO? I'm not smooth enough. I'm also not smart enough.
I would agree, but I would also hold myself in the same category.
Right?
I'm not stylish enough.
No.
Probably
Me
verbally,
neither.
I could be smooth enough, but
You
in
think?
terms of Group just kind of owns it,
Peter's not
well-dressed.
super stylish, though.
No, he's the owner. That's
He's the
different.
owner,
you
you
can be
can
a
do
little
whatever you want.
quirky.
Yeah, you can wear a
be-
garbage
yeah.
bag. Yeah. You can. You're like, I'm just quirky.
Yeah.
I'm out
I'm the
there.
owner. I can do what I want.
Yeah, it's true.
It almost-
It's
it's a-
saying, where's the 8,000-pound gorilla sleep? Wherever it wants.
Wherever it wants.
When you're the owner, you can do whatever
when
you
you're
want.
the owner, you can do
It's
whatever
a
you want.
power move. Like if you're dressed if you're the owner and then you're always dressed in the nicest suits and you look like you're then just showing off your money.
It's a good call.
You don't have to do that
Jerry
anymore.
Jones.
Yeah. Jerry Jones.
Jerry Jones could wear pajamas to the.
He could, but he doesn't. He goes for the finer things as well. I wonder what I would be. I think I would be flashy. I think I would flash it up.
I think if you all of a sudden came into, won the Powerball and won $500 million.
Yeah, I'd be flashy.
I think for a while you'd want to live the flashy life and
Yeah.
then you'd revert and you go back. No, I don't need to do that.
Joggers.
I'm good. Yeah.
Joggers
Let's
and
comfort.
t-shirts.
Let's be comfortable. Let's be understated again. And we don't need to throw around our money and influence all the time.
I know some pretty rich dudes, and those guys look like they're not rich dudes. And I know conversely, I know some guys that dress very flashy and probably have $14 in the bank. You know what I mean? So it's all deadly, my friends. Welcome back, Ben and Woods. Great to be here with all of you on a Friday. I think everyone's in good high spirits today. It was nice to get a win. I'm not going to lie. I know it's just one win. I could not have come in here this morning after a 4-game mop job by the San Francisco Giants, Benny.
It would have been devastating. I mean, losing 3 of 4
was brutal.
Fairly devastating
But-
as it is, the way they did it.
What's
But
our record in the last one game? We are 1-0. Now we need to go 1-0 today and go out and beat the Nationals.
For me, it's the fact that 500 is at least within reach this weekend at home against the
Yes,
Nationals.
my
It's
God.
it's just a 3-game homestand, and then the Padres are on the road, I believe, for a week to Pittsburgh and Cincinnati. The Red Hot Reds are on the horizon. Now, the Pirates have lost 10 in a row. They are ice cold.
Makes me more nervous.
So you've got an opportunity, especially over these next 6. That to me, that's the goal. You go at least 5-1 over the next 6. You're above 500 when you go to Cincinnati the following weekend. A week from today, Friday morning, you wake up in Cincinnati for 3 against the Reds, and you're at least 1 game above 500 because you went 5-1 or 6-0 would be great. I mean, I'm not going to count on the Padres to put 6 straight wins together when we haven't even seen 4 all year, but there's absolutely no reason on earth this Padres team cannot win 5 of 6 games against the Nationals and the Pirates in the next 2 series.
Have you been watching?
I know.
Yep.
I mean, we've been saying this all year long. But, we are also complaining every time the Padres would win the first 2 games of the series and then fail to sweep it.
Yeah.
That's a lot better than losing the first 3 and avoiding the mop at the end. So, go back to at least giving yourself a chance at those series sweeps, and you'll have an opportunity to move back above 500 here in the next week.
Indeed.
Padres should have the advantage tonight. Joe Musgrove on the mound against Patrick Corbin, who has not been good. His ERA is only around 5, but he's struggled lately, giving up a lot of base runners, a lot of hits, a lot of walks, a lot of runs. He's a name that I think the Nationals would love to be able to dangle at the trade deadline, but he's got to pitch better to just make him into trade bait. They're one of the few teams, Woods, that almost unequivocally will be sellers at the deadline. You can count them on maybe one hand. Nats, Royals, A's, White Sox, maybe. I mean, there's not a lot of teams that are for sure sellers at this point. Rockies, and that's about it. And you look at those rosters, there's not a ton that you think is going to even help contenders. A bullpen guy or 2, maybe here or there, that might be interesting. But the trade deadline market is shaping up to be like you go to the supermarket and the shelves are pretty much empty, and you're paying premium for inferior merchandise because everyone's there, and they're going, I'll give you $10 for that package of Kool-Aid because there's nothing else there, and we need something. So it's not going to be a good market for the buyers coming up next month unless a number of teams start falling out of contention over the next 2 to 3 weeks.
Well, one thing I can promise you about Patrick Corbin, you're going to get your looks on him. You're going to get multiple ABs off of him. He is a guy that goes out. He's going to go.
Oh, he's going to pitch 5 or 6.
He's going to go 5 or 6.
No matter how bad he is, he'll be out there.
In fact, he has not had a start under 5 innings this season. So he goes out and eats up innings for that team, win or lose, gives up a lot of hits, will give up some bombs, will walk guys as well. But you're going to get, if you're Tatis and if Hassan Kim's in the leadoff tonight, you're going to get 2-3 shots at Patrick Corbin. So he's going to be out there 5-6 innings at a minimum. And then you're going to have to deal with the Nationals bullpen. And hey, we've seen some of those guys. Some of those guys can bring it a little bit down there, as every bullpen can in the big leagues these days. So there's your marching order.
Remember the last Padres Nationals game involved 2 blow-ups by the bullpen. First, the Padres blew a 5-1 lead, and then the Nationals blew it at the end, and Odor had the 3-run homer in the top of the 9th inning to save that game in that series when the Padres went in late May to Washington, D.C.
Yep. That's exactly right. So gonna, hey, score as many as you can off Corbin. He's gonna be out there wearing it for 5-6 innings and go into that bullpen scene with a lead. And Bob Melvin, the 10 runs yesterday obviously helps reset the bullpen a little bit, give some guys some rest. I thought, hey, listen, small victories. Luis Garcia comes out, throws a scoreless inning after the debacle the other night. That's kind of where you're going to see him for a while, I would imagine, in a game like that.
All right, we'll take a little time out. When we come back, interesting decision by the manager of the Tampa Bay Rays. Wanted to talk about that story a little bit, and a very interesting series this weekend in Southern California baseball. All of that, and if you want to join us, you can. 833-288-0973. It's Ben and Woods on a Friday on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Dave Martinez and the Nationals coming to town tonight. It's Ben Woods. Welcome back. See, he got ejected yesterday for arguing balls and strikes, and he went old school argument
on his belly,
kicking dirt, and then he got down on the ground to indicate how low Doug Eddings' strike zone was. Like, you got to be crawling on the ground like a caterpillar to hit a ball that you're calling a strike, Doug.
Buddy, thank God we put up 10 runs yesterday, because homeboy behind the dish yesterday was calling 6 inches below.
Yeah, that was a tough strike zone too.
God.
But speaking of Davey Martinez, I thought this was an interesting note I saw this morning on the Juan Soto bunt.
Yeah.
In the third inning. Remember, he laid down a bunt. You don't see Juan Soto do that very much. It was the 7th bunt single of his career, first since June of 2019. But he said, hey, I was thinking on the first pitch, as a funky pitcher is trying to work quick of Alex Wood. Not going to be too much chance for Tatis to steal. So the best way, just put it right down there. First pitch was a called strike, though, but then he saw J.D. Davis playing shaded towards shortstop. On the second pitch, he moved back, and then Soto said, that's the perfect moment. I just dropped it down. Soto said, I used to do it with the Nationals, but Davey, the Nationals manager, told me, whenever you do it again, I'm pulling you out of the game. So I stopped doing it, but I have to do it once in a while.
Now, I was told that I was an idiot because I said I didn't want Fernando Tatis Jr. bunting, really ever. Like, I'd never want to see that man square to bunt.
And the Nationals had the same policy with Juan Soto.
But Davey Martinez is, what's his title?
Manager.
He's he's got a minor league manager, right? No, he's a big league manager.
Big league manager.
Hey, wait.
For the last 5 years of the
winning.
He won a World Series
winning manager.
Wait.
Yes.
So the big league manager told one of his best hitters, if you bunt, I'm pulling you out of the lineup. That's weird, because I'm just some dip ass on the radio. That's very strange.
But also, it probably depends on the lineup too.
Yeah.
If Juan Soto's the guy in
He's
the
the
lineup
guy.
and there's no one else, then I can see that.
But when he was there, he didn't have to be the guy until the last year.
But right at this moment, he is the guy who hits the ball the hardest in all of baseball.
Correct. And when he bunted, I went, what are you doing? You're raking right now. But I love and again, I'm going to get pigeonholed into Woods hates bunts all the time. I don't. You bunt for a base hit in that spot. Hey, man, it worked. Great job. If he
gives up and
out, I'm probably pretty mad, because again,
when there's a good chance he's going to hit a screaming liner somewhere.
We had Saris on the show yesterday, and he said, yeah, no one in baseball is hitting the ball harder than Juan Soto. They showed the graphic on the broadcast yesterday as well. And he's not a guy I want doing that a lot. And it sounds like his manager didn't want him doing that as well. Fernando is another guy. Manny is probably another guy I don't want to see drop a bunt down. And because those guys have 30 home run, 40 home run power when they're going right. But hey, man, whatever you need to do to help the ball club win, I guess I'm in favor of. Also, for him, he stole himself an easy knock. That's just an easy knock in the books for him.
Plus, the next time he comes up, that third baseman is going to be playing a little more shallow.
And guess what?
I can drive it to the 5.5 hole.
I will absolutely pound one down there, and you got to let them know you have it in you, so that they will now have to defend against it. So it's pretty interesting. But no, I thought it was a really nice play and beautifully executed, and sure helped out.
Yesterday I've got a stat from one of our other guests involving the Padres from earlier this week, Grant Brisbee. Get to that in a second. First, this hour on 97.3 The Fan is brought to you by South Norte Tequila Cocktails. Savor South Norte Mexican-inspired premium tequila cocktails made with real tequila and real juice. Sip on a classic margarita, an authentic Paloma, or crack open a Matador or the Mexican Mule. Pick yours up at Stater Brothers, Ralph's, Costco, and more. I'll give you that Grant Brisbee stat, and we'll talk about Kevin Cash benching one of his star players coming up after a check of traffic here on 97.3 The Fan.
From the premier Kia of Carlsbad Traffic Center, part of the Premier Auto family, here's Kelly Tannick.
Traffic is sponsored by Gomez Trial Attorneys. Seriously injured? Get a real trial attorney. Get Gomez. Just a couple problems here, guys. Looks like the westbound side of the 52 is cleared an accident right around Mass Boulevard, but now on the eastbound 52 at Cuyamaca off-ramp, there is a collision. Looks like this vehicle went off the roadway, so just watch out for a little activity there. If you've been injured in a car, truck, or motorcycle accident, Gomez Trial Attorneys is ready to fight for you all the way to trial. Get a real trial lawyer. Get Gomez. Call 833-GET-GOMEZ. I'm Kelly Danica with Ben and Wood, San Diego's number one sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
So on Wednesday, Grant Brisbee from The Athletic joined us, covers the San Francisco Giants. He tweeted this yesterday. Don't know if you saw it. He said, whenever I dig through nerd stats for an article, the Padres are always showing up in a place where it's like, that'll probably change and they'll be better because of it. Here's another one. And it was the stat was MLB team OPS batting when it's late and close. We talked a little bit about this, clutch situations, high leverage situations with pitching staffs. Padres are the second worst team in baseball in close and late OPS, 572. That's just 6 points ahead of the Oakland A's, who are dead last. You go up the list. The Arizona Diamondbacks hit 919 OPS in close and late situations.
Man.
Which is pretty crazy because in normal situations, the Padres are right up there, at or moving toward the top of the league in overall OPS. So, again, it didn't come into play yesterday because the Padres weren't close. They were up 10-0, but it certainly came into play in the first 3 games of the series against the Giants. Why is this team so good when it's early in the game or when they're up by 3 or when it doesn't matter? And why are they so awful when they're down by 1 and they need a big hit in the 8th inning and it just never happens? It's the same question we keep asking. There's another stat, though. Grant Brisbee, who can unemotionally tweet about the Padres, goes, that's gonna change because it does. I mean, another team will look at that and go, "Oh, the Padres, that won't hold. They'll start hitting better late, and then they're going to win a ton of these games." So we're lucky that we faced them when they weren't hitting those balls late in the game.
I mean, and they're talking about it in the chat here. It depends on who's up, but I mean, we've seen damn near every star player. We've seen role players. We've seen bench players. Nobody. I mean, it's been nobody. There's been a few here and there, and obviously we haven't had any clutch hits all year. We have, but something about when the pressure gets ratcheted up, and then you start to remember, God, we don't do this. This is not something we've been able to do all season.
Yeah, you can say Xander Bogaerts is struggling, Manny struggled, so their average with runners in scoring position is down. But Tatis and Soto both have OPSs over for the season now at or above 900. Their averages with runners in scoring position are way down this year too.
Yeah, that's true. I was going to say, where do they hit? Do they get as many opportunities because the guys at the bottom aren't getting on and getting in scoring position? It's all
but when they are, they're still not getting the job done.
Get your mic. There we go.
Sorry. Yeah, I think it's one of those things where at first of the season, it probably was a fluky thing.
Yeah.
And then it turned into a thing now.
It's a
that's
thing.
real. It's a thing. So I think they just need a few games to just start swinging it. And I think it'll turn around.
When you have players, and Manny Machado actually said this, I believe he said it to Kevin Acee when they were in one of their, their nose to nose in the locker room. He's like, yeah, all you guys want to do is talk about runners in scoring position. When you hear a player actually address it and talk about their lack of success with runners in scoring position, that kind of means they're thinking about it. They know. I mean, I doubt very much that Bob Melvin comes to the locker room with a piece of paper and says, all right, guys, as of today, we are 179 with runners in scoring position. Do better. But the guys are human. They read the paper. They listen to the radio. They listen to whatever. They see Twitter.
Or even if they don't, they just instinctively know that we have not been coming through in these situations.
But when you hear a player actually address it, I know we've been bad with runners in scoring position. That's all you guys want to talk about. It's really the only thing that you can talk about with this team. That is, yes, there have been some base running mistakes. Certainly. Every team's got them. There have been some defensive lapses. Every team's got them. There's been some pitching woes. Every team's got them. No team in baseball is as bad as we are in that spot. And that's how you win baseball games. And it's the one thing they haven't done well to help win games. I shudder to think what the record would look like if they had just been 15th in batting average with runners in scoring position. I shudder. I mean, we'd be 10, 12, 13 games over 500.
Feels like
absolutely cruising, and that's been the major issue. They're tired of hearing it. We're tired of talking about it. There's only one thing you can do to change it, though. Change it.
Just keep swinging.
Keep swinging.
That's all you can do.
Keep swinging. Keep hacking. Stay aggressive. Don't be passive. All of those things. I mean, they're going to have to hit their way out of it.
Just mentioned a second ago how Dave Martinez, manager of the Nationals, threatened to bench Juan Soto, pull him from the game if he ever bunted. Well, Tampa Bay Rays manager Kevin Cash has actually benched his star player, Wander Franco, for 2 games, yesterday and today at least, against the Kansas City Royals. And we're not exactly sure why. Kevin Cash was a little vague about it. He just kind of basically said it's the way he's been handling frustrating situations this year. To me, that seems like it's a code word for immaturity. There's been some immaturity. Now, Wander Franco is still a very, very young ball player. Is he about the same age as Tatis? A little younger even? They're pretty close in age. And there wasn't anything specifically
22
mentioned. So 22 years old. There's been a couple of times where he didn't run the grounders out all the way and a couple of base running lapses. I mean, you know, as you just said, we've seen it. You see it on every team occasionally.
He jogged to first. It says Wander Franco did not get benched simply because he jogged to first on the grounder. It isn't about slamming down a bat or a random dugout hissy fit. The incidents you might have seen on TV or glimpsed from the bleachers are part of the story, but not the driving force. Number one, it's best for him in the long run. It's best for the clubhouse today.
Here's my question. Are the Tampa Bay Rays a good team because Kevin Cash is a manager who does that? Or because the Tampa Bay Rays are a good team, does Kevin Cash have the luxury of being able to do that when a situation comes up like that? If the Rays were sitting there at 3 games under 500, desperate to win these games against the Kansas City Royals, would he have the stones to bench Wander Franco right now? Or would he say, God, we need to win these games. I can't bench him. What if his 3-run home run is the difference between winning a series or losing a series in the game we absolutely have to have? It's a lot easier when you have the best record in baseball to make a point.
Well, wins
for one of your players.
Wins are currency. That's current. You have currency now to do that. Like they had to pull McClanahan yesterday with some back tightness. And I think they ended up
they did lose.
They lost that game. And, you know, that could be devastating. The thing is about them, though, they've lost guys. They've started the season without Glasnow. They've got a stable of dudes that can replace them at will, seemingly. So I think it's a little bit of both. But, yeah, it's his job to make sure that Wander Franco is the best version of himself. And Kevin Cash was in the big leagues long enough to know, hey, man, no one wants – your teammates don't want to be ground down with your frustrations. I've told this story a billion times. I'll tell it again. The Euclid bit in Boston, every strikeout, every ground out, every out the guy made would come back into the dugout, slam his bat, throw his helmet. Finally, Manny Ramirez choked him out and was like, bro, we're tired of this. We're up 3 runs. You're slamming your bat. We're down 3 runs. You're slamming your bat. You're throwing your helmet. You're grinding all of us down. We get it. You're intense. Stop. You're killing us in here, right? Those guys are tough to play with.
Yeah, plus I feel like a manager only does that if he sees reactions from other players on the team.
100%.
If they're rolling their eyes and like, God, what's this guy's problem?
Yep.
That's when managers do that. I don't think they just do it on their own.
Right.
Like one time to bench someone to prove a point.
I agree. And also you never know what kind of feedback Kevin Cash is getting, like from his bench coach is saying, bro, the guy's half-assing it right now. His work is not there. And so putting somebody on the bench is hard. It's painful. But it's not going to break him. He got a $182 million contract. He's pressing like all big leaguers do, especially guys that get big deals. And he's going to teach him a little bit of a lesson. And I don't think it's hey, we'll show you who's boss. I think it's absolutely necessary at times.
It's tough though, because if you're really worried about maturity and how the guy's handling himself, this is an ultimate test. You get called out now publicly. Now Wander Franco is going to be facing more even questions from the media.
Yeah.
The spotlight is going to be even brighter on him. In some ways, it may make it more difficult for Wander Franco going forward. Now, it could have the desired effect. Hey, everyone's watching. I got to be at my best at every moment. But I've seen guys who go the other way and they shrink even more. They get called out and then they really are a problem after that. That's not the way to handle. Every guy has to be handled differently, essentially.
Yeah, absolutely. It's got to be the toughest part about being a manager. You got 26 different personalities in there, and guys react differently. It probably bothers some managers to watch a guy coolly walk back to the dugout after striking out.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Jake does the same thing. Walks back, kind of looks up like he's looking at the scoreboard for a replay, but probably just trying to look out into space. And just very calmly walks back every single time.
I mean, it's important to learn how to fail, and Wander Franco knows how to fail. He does. You don't get to that level and you don't get that much money if you can't handle failure. And again, 2 days on the bench. No.
Plus Wander Franco's a really good baseball
He's
player,
a
so he'll
really
be
good-
fine.
he
I
will
have a
be-
feeling he's fine.
He will be absolutely fine. And, you know, a little bit of humble pie never hurt anybody. And he got a little slice of his, and I bet you it'll be better for him.
Last thing before the top of the hour, spicy series this weekend at Dodger Stadium. Astros,
Ooh.
Dodgers.
Man.
First time, I think the Astros isn't the first time they're visiting, at least since the scandal
Ooh, man.
broke.
No,
of
they've
the
been
20
before, haven't
they
they?
played, but have they played since the? Because it didn't. I mean, they played since 2017 for sure. But when did we find out about? You know,
I'm
the
almost
sign
certain
they've
stealing.
been up
They've-
there, yeah.
They have been there since
like
then.
last year or the year before.
Okay, they
that.
came before. I know they're always. It's always a
20
spicy
21,
series when
I
they get
think.
together.
Oh,
Pretty
it's
sure
gonna be great.
They were there. So I remember like seeing the pictures of the fans in the parking lot with signs when
Oh,
the
yeah.
buses
Garbage
would drive by
cans
and they
and-
like
yeah,
throwing
that's right.
stuff at them.
That's
I'm pretty
right.
Sure
That's
they were
right.
there.
Buses and stuff. Yeah, I do remember that. No, but it is.
They
gonna be a
won't have
good series.
forgotten. It's a lot of different guys than
Oh,
it
yeah.
used to be, but it's the same organization.
Yeah, should be good.
The uniform, so there'll be a lot of eyes. I think that's the Sunday night game. There's also a Sunday morning game.
Oh, first
This
time
week
with
with the,
fans though, maybe.
Maybe that's what it was. I don't know, but then were they just outside? And they weren't allowed inside.
Maybe I don't remember.
And then you've got the London.
They play every other
game.
year, right? If it's
Home
interleague,
and
so
then-
it would have been 2021.
Not necessarily, because we rotated around divisions before this year. You didn't play everybody.
Well, we're clearly dialed in on this.
I'll
information.
check it.
Crushing
I'll
it.
check it. We'll get some headlines from Paulie. Final hour of Ben and Woods of the week next on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
We got a man down in here. Our co-host for the day, East County Chris, his hamstring just cramped up.
I'm good.
Today's National Hydration Day, just so you know.
Oh, nice.
So
That's convenient.
get that in you, get some electrolytes in you, and you'll be feeling much better soon. Let me know if you need me to work on it for you. I can do that.
It's also a big day for Ben Higgins. It's a National Detroit Style Pizza
Oh
Day.
my God. He forced us.
You liked it.
He
You
jammed
liked
it down our throats at spring training.
It was a well-rated establishment near our Airbnb at spring training.
I wish I loved anything as much as
it
this
was
man
really good.
loves.
It was
Guy
tasty.
would
style.
not stop
tasty.
talking about Detroit style.
Never had
pizza.
Detroit style.
It's kind of like a
What is
pan.
it?
It's not deep dish, but it's in a pan. You get kind of crispy, cheesy edges on the corners.
We
Take some-
liked it in the sense that we woke up at 4 a.m.
Yes.
worked at the complex,
Played golf.
went straight to the golf course, did not stop for lunch.
Correct.
Maybe had a hot dog on the course. I don't remember. but
Probably.
we really didn't eat much all day. We were starving at 7:30, 8 o'clock at night. We're driving around, and Ben goes, he's on his Eat Her app, and he goes, "Oh, this place has got great reviews. It's Detroit style pizza." We're like, what the hell
What is that?
Detroit style pizza? And so we would have eaten
I
anything
would
at
have
that
eaten
point.
anything.
West Phoenix is the just jankiest food scene there is.
Well,
I mean, you
for
guys.
you.
Had-
Paulie and I love it.
oh yeah, when you went and had your barbecue,
Little
the
McAllister's.
Little PF Chang's, get it in you.
sad, janky
Get a little
barbecue that
cheesecake
you ate.
Get a little cheesecake factory in you.
Hey,
Nothing wrong with that.
I found the meatball wheel this year as well, the great wheel of meatballs when we were out at spring training.
He went alone. We didn't go with you. We had Cheesecake Factory.
Our crack research staff, which is Paulie Googling, did find out that the Dodgers and Astros did play in 2021 at Dodger Stadium in August. 2 days, 105,000 fans.
Woo!
Not happy with the Houston Astros, but they'll do it again this weekend at Dodger Stadium.
Nice. Very nice.
Good research, Paulie.
Hey, thanks.
Just give you extra for that. What did you Google? You said Dodgers, Astros
Series.
No, there's you can type in teams like Houston Astros, Los Angeles Dodgers head to head, and there's a
Head-to-head.
website that will show every game that they've ever played together. It says when the date was,
Internet.
home or
I
away.
think this internet's here to stay.
Internet is amazing.
It is pretty amazing.
Some people thought it was a little
fluke.
a fad. We're going to go away after a few months. No, I think it's here to stay. Also here to stay is our Rindle Report. Paulie?
And get things started here with our today's edition of the Rindle Report.
Now tuned into the greatest.
Welcome to the Rindle Report with Paul Rindle.
Hi, Paul.
All right.
2 stories from the world of sports that we haven't gotten to yet.
We'll start off in Major League Baseball.
And 1 story that you didn't know you needed.
Are you laughing, biatch?
It's the Rindle Report
Hey, Paul, how you doing?
Okay, how are you?
on 97.3 The Fan.
Are you ready to bless the mood? I need some help, please.
That was good.
Can I get a oh yeah?
All right.
All right.
All right, indeed.
Got a weird story here, gentlemen. Orcas attacked a boat during the ocean
Like Shamu.
race.
Orcas like Shamu.
Killer whales.
Yeah.
Terrifying. Absolutely terrifying to have a boat just get swarmed by killer whales.
I mean, they look
but,
so friendly at the SeaWorld show.
It's
They do.
team.
But they're
They're
also
attractive animal.
the word killer is in their name.
Yeah. Killer Mike is a very nice guy.
Is he? Who is he?
He's a rapper.
Killer Mike?
My elementary school, we were the Orcas.
Really?
That's terrible.
Yeah.
That's
Were
Only
your
in Washington.
were your school colors black and white?
Blue, like blue, black, and white.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A sea of and
The
orca
Mar
color?
Vista Orcas.
Orcas.
Mom, I need to go to another school.
Maybe they've changed it since then. It's been a long time, but yeah, Team Jajo, Jajo, had says several heart-stopping minutes on their approach to the Strait of Gibraltar yesterday when their boat came under attack.
Well, dude,
from a-
where's the Strait of Gibraltar?
Where?
Yeah, where would you find that on the globe?
South America.
Very good. At
Thank
the very
you.
tip of South America.
Ooh, just the tip. I'm very bad with rivers and
That's not
geography.
true at all.
Oh, damn it.
It's the one right between
Is it Egypt?
No, it's right between
Peru?
no, So the bottom of Spain and the top of Morocco, or
Okay.
wherever that is, to get into the Mediterranean.
Oh.
I think that's the Strait of Gibraltar.
Why do we always get so? I always wonder why these stories are so big. Hey, we're in a habitat where these things may happen. Like you're in their habitat. This is where they live. They didn't. We're so surprised.
You're invading their
Yes,
home.
you're in their home, and you're like, oh my gosh. I mean, it's cool to see like whales and dolphins and stuff, but not probably when you're on a boat and they're
Not
swarming.
like an entire pod of orcas just attacking your boat.
Terrifying.
Sounds absolutely
So
horrible.
where are they racing here?
So it's the Ocean Race.
Ocean
It's a
Race.
6-month, 32,000 nautical mile, which is roughly 37,000 miles. It's a competition that sends crews around the world.
Around the world. Just ruining everyone's weekend.
Right back.
That earworm.
You gave me a day to get it out of my head,
Yeah.
and now you put it right back in there.
Yeah. My brain when I'm trying to sleep.
We had somebody
These
in the
punks
chat
are
like,
so daft.
before the show even started in the weight room. Somebody's like, "Why the hell have I had Daft
Around-
Punk
yeah.
in my head?" And
Yeah.
we're like, "Oh,
That's our
because we
fault.
did
That's our fault.
because we did that for about 10 minutes.
Mhm.
I think that was yesterday.
It was.
All right, Woodsy, you're gonna enjoy this story, I believe. We talked a lot about Aaron Rodgers, not
Yes.
just what he's done on the field, but what he does off the field, whether it's his love life, anything else like that. But the ayahuasca experience for Aaron Rodgers, we've gotten a lot of content out
We
of that.
sure have.
Also, the Darkness Retreat.
Yes.
He's an odd guy.
He's an interesting
Yeah.
character.
I think that's the best word. He is an interesting cat.
He marches to the beat of his own drum.
Yeah. And a lot of that I respect.
I do too.
There's a lot that I disagree with and
Sure.
think he's a little kooky, but so earlier this week in Denver, I mean, just the headline alone, Aaron Rodgers spoke at a psychedelics conference in Denver yesterday about his journey with ayahuasca and other psychedelics. He also talked about the number of athletes who have reached out to him to share their experiences. Here's a little audio from that press conference, the psychedelics press conference with NFL MVP Aaron Rodgers.
Is it not ironic that the things that actually expand your mind are illegal, and the things that keep you in the lower chakras and dumb you down have been legal for centuries?
Yeah.
Because I guarantee you, all these bums who want to, come after me online about my experience and stuff, they've never tried it. They're the perfect people for it. We need to get these people taking it. Yep. The previous year, 26 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. We had a good season. Ayahuasca, 48 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. MVP. What are you going to say?
It's incredible.
I'm begging you.
Whatever you want, we'll make it happen.
I'm not morally opposed to it. You know that, right?
Yeah.
And I think if you want to expand your horizons that way,
No,
I'm just scared of doing it myself. Really, really scared.
What about
of how I'll react?
Psilocybin.
I don't know the difference, but
There's a difference.
I don't like being altered that much. I don't like getting drunk. I've never liked the feeling of being altered.
Do you hate the feeling?
Alka-Seltzer, whatever it is.
You hate the feeling of
It
being.
just makes me very uncomfortable, and I don't like it.
You hate the feeling of being as happy as you've ever been in your entire
I might.
life.
If I didn't feel it
Centered,
was real,
calm.
if I felt like it was fake, it would spin me out, and I would start thinking too much about it. I am so level as it is and calm. Why would I mess with that?
You're happy.
I don't want to turn into you. I'll tell you that.
Me? What's wrong with me? What in the world's a shot?
Maybe
Turn
the
into
Padres.
woods.
Maybe the Padres need ayahuasca.
I just feel like
can you
maybe to hit
imagine?
the
you
runners
know,
in
I
scoring position.
love you and I respect you. Your mind races all over the place in ways that would drive me crazy.
It does.
I don't want to go down that path. Now, maybe for you, doing something like that is very helpful, but for me, I feel like I'm risking the peace of mind
Okay.
that I've hard earned over the last 47 years.
Yes, and I agree with that. What I can say, I'm not advocating. Right? It comes out of the ground, right? So, and
I do believe,
it's legal in certain
I
places.
do
yeah.
believe in, you can't comment on something until you try it.
Sure, I've never done ayahuasca.
I would never say, oh, you should never do something like that. I
Right.
have no idea. I've never done it. I have no comment on it.
Psilocybin, though, they use it for treat depression, things like that.
That's mushroom.
Yeah.
He also advocated for the legalization of magic mushrooms.
Of
Aaron
course.
Rodgers.
Yeah. I mean, it's literally a no-brainer. If alcohol is legal and I can go to a bar and get hey, I'll take 14 shots of tequila, I should be able to eat a cap, really. And what I would say, though, Ben, is like, you like food, yeah?
I do.
Do you like when you get a steak, and do you like anything on your steak?
Sometimes.
Right.
I mean, certainly it's got to be, a little butter on there
Sure.
or something at the minimum.
So basically what it is you have a steak, and in the steak is your brain, and you add a little butter to it and maybe a little béarnaise. Just makes it better. And like, it doesn't, you're not going to be like, oh, I'm going to pull my wiener out and go running. It doesn't do that. You just go, yeah. You just go, the lights are a little more beautiful. The landscape's a little more beautiful. I'm find myself smiling a lot more. And I am generally just feel
the way you describe
happy.
it sounds like not only should it be legal, it should be mandatory. for
You're
everybody.
absolutely right.
All
man.
the time.
Well, there's people that do. I mean, there's people that that we know that right now are probably listening that like microdose for depression, anxiety, suicidal thoughts, things like that. Microdosing it's in the name, just a little bit. And like anything at all, like alcohol, like cigarettes, like anything, if you abuse something, it will be bad for you.
Can I microdose on the donuts that Chris brought and not break my
bring
diet?
me one, because his diet. Bring me a
Microdose.
This is. I'm gonna give you just a little bit, as to not get you hooked.
Just a
Here,
micro.
no, I got you.
This is a gateway food.
You feel altered a little bit? Yeah. You feel fantastic, is what you do. You feel fantastic right now.
Considering those are my first carbs, for a week, I do feel amazing.
We just microdose donuts on Ben and Woods, by the way. It's maybe my favorite segment of the week.
Incredible.
No, I mean, look, life is a journey, right? And he is he's going headlong into it. So
What if
do
I
respect
take a
that.
microdose though of your mushrooms?
Yeah.
And then I want like 3 full jelly-filled mushrooms right now.
That's one way we could get him to do it. Shovel it into a donut. Like, eat this. You'll be very happy.
Don't worry about that weird, chewy.
Yeah,
you'll be
that's-
fine. Just get it down.
That horrid
It's awful.
taste.
But I will say, first time I practiced
Yes.
that, plugged in the headphones, went on a walk around
Yeah.
the neighborhood at night. The star, like the lights were just a different
The world
level of brightness.
The
It
world
was the
makes a
most
little sense.
calm, like
Makes a little sense.
happy I've ever been.
It does.
Let me ask you this. Do you think that the people at the conference knew that Aaron Rodgers was into it and said, hey, do you want to join us? Or do you think Aaron Rodgers called up and said,
I'll speak.
Hey, I'd like to speak at your
Hey, you guys
conference.
need anybody?
I got 50-50 either way, how that worked
I
out.
don't know.
Yeah, I
don't
mean,
know.
yeah.
Finally,
Good for him.
I kind of hate the precedent that we've set talking about these celebrity boxing fights.
Why you didn't have to?
We did.
Could have done the sub.
We've done the sub.
We didn't do this. We didn't do the update. The final update.
They're dead.
They died. Shout out to their
Gave you the update yesterday. They were most likely dead.
most likely. Well, now it's
Now they're
confirmed. Shout out to their
Um,
families.
we see it with athletes.
I want to make a snarky comment, and they're
Can't.
dead, and I feel like I can't. I'll
Probably
wait until the
people
break.
die.
Probably shouldn't.
People died.
I'm not going to.
Let's get back to the super fight. We've talked about like athletes like Le'Veon Bell against Antonio Brown or something like that in a celebrity boxing match. Well, there's a fight that is looking like it may happen, and it's going to feature Mark Zuckerberg going up against Elon Musk, two real heavyweights there in the boxing world, and it's being coordinated by Dana White. From the UFC says he's talked to both of them, and they are absolutely dead serious about it. And he is willing to make it happen. Dana White is. He says it'll easily be the biggest fight of all time. Have a pay-per-view cost of $100. And both guys will be donating whatever they make to charity. Mark Zuckerberg is pretty serious about jiu-jitsu, apparently. He's a student of jiu-jitsu. And
Yeah.
Dana White said that Elon told him he's done some martial arts, but he's also gotten into, quote, plenty of fights growing up in South Africa.
Okay.
I wouldn't pay 50 cents Why would you?
I don't
mean,
even know if I would illegally stream it.
Is
I
there
just
a
couldn't care
visceral
less.
thrill to see a billionaire get punched in the face, perhaps
by
I
another
guess?
billionaire?
I mean, if
I
you
don't
could
know.
get one of them to get
I
punched
know.
in the face by
Now Conor McGregor
Conor
against
McGregor,
Elon
yeah.
Musk, I
I'm
might
talking-
be into that one.
Zuck's like 5'7", and Elon's over 6 feet. I think he outweighs him by a good amount too. Zuck's kind of a little guy.
I think they're both pretty little.
Are they?
It's going to be horrible to watch, but I kind of want to see it.
Yeah, I'll watch the high. Like if the highlight comes out, but I will not pay for it.
Elon's 6'1". Zuck is 5'7".
6'1", 5'7". Okay, yeah, pass. Still gonna pass.
Little bub.
How much would people pay for a Ben versus Woods celebrity boxing match? And I know I wouldn't fare well in that.
I don't think I would necessarily.
Have you done any boxing, like boxing,
Just
even like classes
boxing
or anything?
classes.
I've never done any. I've never even put on boxing gloves
Really?
before in my
The,
life.
the workout is pretty fun. You ever do any boxing, Chris?
Yeah, I
This
work
kind of
out
Chris?
a little MMA here and
Do
there.
you work
little
out really?
jiu-jitsu
Can't
and
tell.
little
Those arms.
boxing.
Good big arms, man.
My calves aren't as big as Ben's. though.
Nobody's are. Literally no one on the planet.
Arnold
I've-
Schwarzenegger wishes. he
I
had
won the
Ben's
calf
leg workout.
comparison with Phil Mickelson a couple years ago when we ran into each other.
Damn it, Higgins!
Damn it!
How do you do it?
Men would kill for those things.
They're insane.
I have Manny
And
legs.
Chris could literally kill me with those arms
I
if
know.
he wanted to steal my calves.
I know. I wish I had.
Tell me
big
about your
arms.
ink that you got there, Chris.
It started a couple years ago, and each one has a meaning to it. Like there's a Celtic, like hearts and 4-leaf clover in the back. That's for my grandma who passed away like 5 years ago. She was Irish.
Shout out to her family.
Yeah. So
Which would be you.
yeah.
Shout
So
out to you.
Shout
so
out
each
to you.
one has a little bit something, but once you start though, it gets addicting. So
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure in a few
Yeah.
years I'll have the other arm
My
covered.
wife
and-
is just about finished with her second sleeve all the way down. She's got them both sides now.
I have a son that I picked off of the wall, and I was drunk, and I did it, and I hate it.
a what?
A son,
Not like
you know,
Bo or
like
Taylor.
the son.
Was it on your lower
SUN.
back?
No, it's my back shoulder.
Oh, okay.
It's embarrassing. I hate it. I wanna-
Caitlin in the chat wants to know if you have a Padres tattoo.
No, but I did offer you guys on Twitter that if the Padres won the World Series in 2023, we should get swinging friar tattoos.
I would do that.
I'm down.
Sure, why not?
right.
I'd rather have the problem of having to face a World Series championship and a tattoo than
Yeah.
anything else. So.
You the only difference you have to get on your neck,
No thanks.
right there. You'd look amazing.
Mike Tyson face tattoo.
Gonna go on one of these two mighty calves.
Ooh,
There you go.
not a bad idea. Come on, boys, you gotta win this thing. Gotta
It's a
win
huge
this thing.
That doesn't
Canvas.
motivate y'all.
It- I don't know what to
what
tell you.
else will. Boys. All right. We have a couple segments left. We have time for some phone calls if you want. 833-288-0973. We're not leaving without spinning the topic wheel with Chris here either.
For
So
sure,
Maybe
you're gonna
we'll do that
hear-
when we come back.
You'll also hear the things that Ben likes to wrap up the show. That's worth sticking around if you haven't heard.
I like a microdosing of donuts on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Let's check traffic. We'll be right back. Live coverage of every Padres game on 97.3 The Fan is available through the Odyssey app. Wherever you are in the San Diego area, you can listen to every pitch on Odyssey. Just download the free Odyssey app and search 97.3 The Fan to get started. I don't think we've ever, we occasionally have guests in studio, even a guest co-host every once in a while. I don't know that we've ever spun a topic wheel with a guest co-host. I think that's going to add a new element
let's break
to the topic wheel this morning. So let's do it. Paulie, fire up our topic wheel this morning.
What instrument do you wish you could play?
Ooh, who wants to start?
Wow. Just like you. So are we saying like just magically you now have the knowledge? You don't have to put in the years of training.
Yeah.
You just get to be able to play and master an instrument.
Sure.
I'll
Right
go
away.
first. I think I'd play the guitar.
Yeah.
Just because you look the coolest when you're playing it.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
I play guitar. I don't look very cool.
I played piano growing up as a kid, and I wish I didn't stop.
Yeah.
But I always wish I could play the guitar.
So I can play a little bit. I just don't improve. And I've hit the wall, the plateau of I feel like how far I can go without actually taking some lessons and things. And I watch some videos online to try to learn songs. And but it's not easy. It's not easy, but it's awesome. My wife hates it though. That you think, oh, isn't that nice? My husband can play guitar. No.
Sounds like she hates a lot of.
She hates a lot of stuff. She likes a lot of stuff too if they have baseball bat in their hands. But yeah, other than that, what about you, Benny?
I think you know what my answer is. Smooth,
clarinet,
sexy sax. Yeah, you definitely.
Ben loves sax.
That would be yes. I like
sax.
I like sax.
Ben does sax. Does anyone have a saxophone we can borrow? I'm begging you. Please bring it in.
I love how they
just need it for one day.
They lean into it.
What is the why?
I don't know. It's always the best part of the song, like the yacht rock. Every great yacht rock song that has the saxophone
Baker
portion
Street.
in the middle. Yeah, like Baker Street. Yeah, I love a good sax and a good sax player wearing sunglasses.
It's the perviest instrument for a man to play by far. If you were single and you met a woman at a cocktail lounge and she said, do you play any instruments? Yes, I do. I play saxophone. She should get up and run away. I feel like it's cool. It's very
it's like the Ron Burry jazz flute.
Jazz flute. When I hear it, I have perverted thoughts. When I hear the saxophone, my mind goes instantly into the gutter. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong. When you hear it,
I think that's where you're supposed to go.
Is that
that's
right?
where it's trying to take you.
Don't you feel like making love when you hear? I need more saxophone, Paulie. Fire me up. I want to hear more of it because
I want to get you all excited over there.
I picture white wine and making love on a bearskin rug or something with that in the background.
I picture sailing.
Of course.
A boat with maybe a nice glass of white wine. Perfect.
All I can picture is Ben playing it right now. You would fully get you would fully get your eyes would be closed.
Yes.
And your head would be bobbing.
Carnal relations.
You're
All right, it is 6 o'clock in the morning.
Sax o'clock.
You are
in the morning.
such a pervert. It's not even funny. If any tier ones have one, I'm begging you to bring it in on Monday. I want to hear him at least attempt.
I've never played any reed instrument or attempted even a reed instrument in my life.
Did you ever take piano?
I did take piano.
Are you any good now?
Not that. I still play like one or two songs.
Yeah.
Played the trumpet in 4th grade. We had a band.
I did too,
class or
Paulie.
whatever.
Well, did you call it a coronet as well? I played the coronet.
It was a trumpet, whatever I had.
Yeah, it's the same thing essentially. But I did that in like 6th grade. My dad was like, "What?" Yeah, me and my buddies want to play the trumpet. Well, Miles Davis action, but yeah, all right.
Trombone would be kind of fun. It looks like it's tiring.
Yeah, it does.
Sliding it out,
in and out. I'd like to play the piano. That's what I would really like to be proficient at. I think it's beautiful. I think our buddy Bobby Cressy
I would
blows
say
my mind.
the ability to play an organ like he does is very cool.
That
at
I
the
can
ballpark.
do.
Woods is a master of the organ.
I am.
One more wheel, or do we have to get going to a
time.
guess? We have one more
We'll go quickly.
spin.
What's the most bizarre text you've ever received?
Well, I already did mine this week.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, guy who texted me out of the blue and apparently got my private cell number from someone in his office just to share his thoughts on the Padres and how they could hit better with me.
I think I have maybe the winner.
Oh,
maybe,
you do?
Maybe.
Evander Holyfield sending you Bible.
That was pretty bizarre.
That's weird.
I told that story last week or 2 weeks ago. So back at our old station, when we had to have like 4 NFL interviews a day,
Yeah.
that was jammed down our throats. One of the guests that we had texted me something very bizarre. We had, I don't know why, but we had Tom Flores on the show one time.
Former Seahawks head coach, Raiders head coach, Tom Flores.
How old is Tom Flores? Let me just look real quick. He is 86 years old right now.
So it's probably 81
he
or
was definitely in his
82,
80s.
yeah.
A couple weeks after we had him on the show, and I wish I still had this text message. I don't believe I do, but I got a text. Phone lights up, says Tom Flores, and it says, "Hey, baby, need me to grab anything on my way home?"
Oh my God!
Did you text back?
I did not.
You didn't.
I don't believe
What
I
do you
did.
say at that point?
What do you?
Hi, Tom. This is Paul Reindl.
I mean, it could be very innocuous.
Well, yeah, his wife's name is Pauline or something.
Yeah,
and
I don't still have it. Oh God, I wish I still had that message.
what about you? Do you know?
I mean, Al Davis called
can't
everybody
think of it.
baby.
Corey Stewart will send me nudes from time to time, and they're very disconcerting.
It's not bizarre though. You expect it. From
Yeah,
him.
kind of. I mean, he gets a little booze in him. It's the marijuana's flowing, and he'll send me nudes
Of himself or other people?
himself.
Okay.
That's it. All right, let's go to break.
We're going to come back. We've got some info on some activities at Petco Park for you ahead in our next segment.
This is right up my alley.
Always up your alley. That's next on Bennett Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Mentioned Patrick Corbin and Joe Musgrove are the scheduled starting pitchers for tonight's game. Tomorrow, it's Josiah Gray and Michael Waka. And then Sunday, Mackenzie Gore, Seth Lugo.
Okay.
In the 3-game homestand. Just a 3-game short series and homestand. And then the Padres go back out on the road for a week to Pittsburgh and Cincinnati as they hit the Midwest coming up here after the Washington Nationals visit.
That's a weird kind of travel.
Well, they just had a homestand and then a really short and then they came back and then they went back for a short one. So they're kind of due to make up a couple of road games here, but then they come home again before the All-Star break for another week or so, I believe.
We go to Pittsburgh, Cincinnati,
then back home
and
again.
Then back home again.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
So
right on.
this weekend, though, you're still trying to build that momentum and try to get some wins in a row. We'll be there tonight. Looking forward to getting out to the ballpark. Always a great place, Petco Park, where they're going for a baseball game or a show. And we'll talk about some of the new concerts coming to both Petco Park and Gallagher Square right after this check of traffic on 97.3 The Fan.
From the premier Kia of Carlsbad Traffic Center, part of the Premier Auto family, here's Kelly Tannick.
Hasn't been too bad of a ride this morning. We do have this one hit and run crash northbound side of the 5 before Claremont Drive. Car and motorcycle involved there over the right shoulder. We're noticing a lot of Caltrans projects going on in and around the county, too. So just a friendly reminder, let's keep those workers safe out there. Take it extra carefully as you pass them. Even move over a lane if it's safe to do so. I'm Kelly Danik with Ben & Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
I think the corporate lingo for it is ballpark activation. That they've got events at Petco Park when the Padres are on the road or aren't using it in the off season. For normal people, they get this big place that they can do cool things. So why don't use it? When you have the opportunity. And Padres have been with lots of great events and shows. And joining us right now on our Premier Chevrolet of Carlsbad Fan Hotline, Padres Senior Vice President of Special Events, Jacqueline Lash, back with us here on 97.3 The Fan. Jacqueline, good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
We're doing
Good.
well. Doing well.
Ballpark activation, is that what they call it? Was that right?
We can start calling it that now that you've named it that.
But we've got a lot of shows coming up at Petco Park. We've been seeing this more and more over the last few years, and now it feels like the Padres are taking full advantage of the many different spaces that Petco Park has to offer. Would I be right about that?
Yeah, we just feel like Petco Park is the jewel of San Diego. As a native San Diegan, I feel like we're so lucky to have it in the middle of downtown. We made the promise to activate it as more than a ballpark. And we're doing that with a lot of different events. So obviously, we have concerts, but we have all different kinds of events, like corporate events, the Holiday Bowl. We're just constantly looking at ways to make it, a gift to the community and have different events to activate the city.
Well, it certainly has done that, Jacqueline. Dia de los Deftones is one of my favorite things in the entire world.
I love that.
It's so good. It's a little mini festival of all kinds of different artists, headlined by one of my favorite bands, Deftones. And I've been every time that you guys have put it on, and I didn't know what to expect. And then I got there and I went, oh my God, this place is electric. It's such a great atmosphere to watch shows and obviously downtown San Diego and out in Gallagher Square. It's been incredible. What are some of the other ones coming to town that people need to know about?
Yeah, so we're officially kicking off our concert season next week. So on June 29th, we have Logic with Juicy J, which I'm super excited about. We've had Logic out at the ballpark before. So that's kind of the official kickoff to the summer. And then going from there, we just have a ton of shows, including Morgan Wallen, 2 back-to-back shows inside the ballpark. And then we're doing something special with Slightly Stupid. So hometown band, obviously. Yep. We've done a lot of shows with them. They're Padres fans. We're fans of them. So they're going to play the Playing Field on July 16th with Sublime with Rome and Atmosphere. So we're super excited about that. That's going to be just a complete party. Again, July 16th on that one. Then we go into Jimmy Eat World with Manchester Orchestra, Yellow Card. Man. Yeah, we just have a killer lineup this year, and we're really excited about it. It's really something for everyone, whether, again, it's Weezer, we have the Revivalists with Band of Horses, yes. Pixies and Modest Mouse. Like, whatever it is you're looking for, I think we've got it. And you can see our full lineup if you go to padres.com/concerts.
Now, Ben, you're very disappointed that the Cigarettes After Sex show is sold out.
Oh yeah,
so
absolutely.
you're going to
Ben,
have to.
I can get you into that.
Thank you.
I know
well,
it's your fave.
So is Morgan Wallen, but our guest co-host Chris is going. He's got tickets to that one coming up. You mentioned a couple of the shows that are going to be at Gallagher Square. Jacqueline, I saw recently they made some announcements about the renovations that are going to be happening. It's a great atmosphere already, but it has gotten like packed in. I went to a show. It's like, wow, you can barely move out here. What are those new changes going to do for concert goers at Gallagher Square?
Yeah, so I mean, we're really excited. It's going to be the 20th anniversary of Petco Park, which I really can't believe because it looks like it's 5 years old. So we're really excited, and one of the ways that we plan to celebrate that is to renovate Gallagher Square. And it's not just for concerts. Like, this space is used for so much more than just shows. We're going to have like this new playground, which is going to be insane. I don't know if you've seen renderings, but lots of amenities for fans in the community. And I think, the experience out there at Gallagher Square is already incredible, whether it's a game day or a concert. And we're just looking for ways to make it better. Whether it's adding in some tiered areas for watching a game or watching a concert. We're going to have a very nice VIP deck. It's the Tony Gwynn deck. So we're really, really excited about it. And, Eric Grupner and our ownership just does an incredible job of making sure that we maintain the ballpark and just continue to improve it in all ways.
Maybe we can sponsor one of those new tiered areas and call it the Ben Woods Tier 1.
I feel like I'm going to have to go out of pocket for this, and
Yeah.
you're not going to come through.
Oh, yeah, man, you can handle it. Don't worry about it. We'll work out a deal. We're partners here. We can
It's
work out a
true.
good deal with
You
Jacqueline.
guys are
here.
the best.
Thank
Come
you.
on.
Come on. We've I've loved it. Every show I've been to has been incredible. I mean, just an
I love to
incredible
hear that.
experience. It really has. We're bringing the whole family down for Band of Horses. I'm taking my little guy to go see Spoon and Weezer, and we got our tickets. We're ready to go. It's gonna be great. Can't wait.
Oh, this is awesome. Well, I really love hearing that. And like I said, it's something for everyone. So when people say they bring their family or like it's their kids' first show that they saw,
Yep.
we're just making memories at the ballpark, whether it's baseball or not.
Jacqueline, really appreciate it. Thank you for getting us updated. Sounds like a great lineup, just like the rest of the year. Have a great weekend.
Thank you. You guys too.
Keep up the
There's
good work.
Jacqueline Lash, Senior Vice President, Special Events for the Padres on our Premier Chevrolet of Carlsbad fan hotline. Save money the right way with Premier Chevrolet of Carlsbad. Visit them today in the Carlsbad Auto Mall. Chevrolet, find new roads.
Talk about something for everyone. You said Band of Horses, Woodsy. I would love to go see Jimmy Eat World or
Yes.
All American Rejects later this year. Ben, Cigarettes After Sex, of course.
Cigarettes After Sex and Logic.
Logic.
For Ben, for sure. Darius Rucker's playing,
I do like Logic. I mean,
he's a logical
I'm a
fella,
logical person.
But
so.
did you hear me?
Darius
Darius
Rucker.
Rucker
Yeah,
is gonna
Hootie.
be there. Yeah, it's right up your
It's not
alley.
really Hootie. The band was called Hootie and the Blowfish, but
he's
he
Darius
was never Hootie. He's Darius Rucker.
Yeah, Hosier also playing. It's sold out, man. Yeah, so get those tickets now. Go to padres.com/concerts. You'll be. I mean, it's such a great. If you haven't been to a show yet, there.
Jacqueline described Petco Park as being 20 years old, but doesn't look a day over 5.
That's true.
It's not a great pickup line, I don't think, though. God,
Jesus, good Lord.
Yeah, look, a day over 5.
Oh my God.
It's the end of the week.
It is. We're getting late now. We're really getting late. Last few minutes. Chris, it's your show. You take us the rest of the way.
Get us the rest of the way home, Chris.
Here's guest co-host Chris.
All right,
And
let's interview Chris here a little
Yeah,
bit. He's
okay.
guest co-host Chris, East County Chris, as he wants to be called, his moniker. So, what were your thoughts on being able to guest host the Ben and Woods program?
It was a good time. Time goes by really slow.
does.
4 hours feels like 6 or 7.
It can.
Yeah.
Those are the bad days. The good days is when you look up and you're like, oh my God, we have one more segment. And those days are.
We'll let you know when we have one.
We've had them. We've had them. There was like a year that went by pretty fast. We were seemingly on fire.
Remember that first month of COVID though, when
Oh.
like March seemed to last 800 days
That was
from
pretty,
the Corona cave.
pretty excruciating. It's not as glamorous as you might have thought it was.
Well, plus San Diego only has one team, and during COVID there was no team.
There's nothing.
Nothing to talk about.
nothing.
We were actually better prepared than most. Imagine you're like Dallas, and all of a sudden you lose the
Yeah.
Cowboys, the
Yeah.
Stars, you lose the Mavericks, you lose the Rangers, you lose all Texas football,
Yep.
everything to talk about. We only really lost one team to
It's
talk
true.
about, so
It's
we were
true.
actually in better position than most.
Just do the topic
to
wheel for 4
survive.
hours.
That we did. Well,
Yeah,
I mean,
we pretty much did. I mean, but now
essentially
you
did.
come in, you see actually how easy this is. You know, it's not. We make it sound like a lot harder than it is, right?
I mean, every employee is always you're supposed to make your job seem a lot harder.
Oh
than it
yeah,
is.
absolutely.
It's pretty hard though, waking up at 5 o'clock
Yeah.
every morning and trying to think of questions.
Trying to stay on.
When your coffee wears off, it gets pretty hard.
It does. It's but it's a labor of love. Certainly, we got the best audience in town, an incredible group of friends that we get to talk to every day.
Before we get to things I like to wrap up the week, I want to say something I liked a lot was Jay Paris wrote a really nice piece
He did.
In the Coast News. If you want to check it out, North County's top news source, Ben and Wood's profile piece, and he did a really nice job. He sent it to us yesterday and came out. I shared it with some of the friends and family, got very positive reaction, and appreciate Jay, known him for a very long time.
Great dude.
Columnist for the North County Times sports section for many, many years, covered all the, Chargers, Padres, and everything for a very long time. One of the senior, basically respected members of the San Diego media for many, many years.
Yeah, great guy. He interviewed us separately. I was worried about, he's going to ask Ben the same questions. I need to make sure, I answer honestly.
Shelley read it. She said, I thought you guys liked each other more right off the bat. And I said, we didn't dislike each other.
No, there was no
but
dislike.
We didn't necessarily hit it off. I didn't think, this guy's going to be my best friend from the moment I met him.
I didn't feel like the immediate chemistry when I met him. In fact, I said it in the article. It was the worst meeting I've ever had. I had all these ideas, and he's like, I don't want to do any of that. I want to do this. And I go, oh, yeah, I don't want to do that kind of show at all. It's amazing. We've made it 5 years, honestly, because that really, if you had just looked at that at its bare bones, like I have these ideas, he has these, neither of them gelled whatsoever. And now we end up with this.
But
Pretty
as
cool.
we both acknowledge, neiter of us really had much of a choice or any other options.
Yeah, that's exactly right. That's exactly right. We had no other
It's a
choice.
testament to making it work.
Kind of like an arranged marriage,
Very
actually.
much so.
And then you get in
Very
there and you're
much
like,
so.
you know what? You kind of look pretty good with your shirt off. I'm in
You'll
on
learn
this.
to love each other.
Yeah,
Just give it time. You'll learn to love each other.
Exactly right.
I've learned to like a lot of things over the years, and Paulie was creative enough to collect them all without my knowledge and put them all together. Good way to end the week always.
I like good, juicy, sweet strawberries.
I like a good marching band. I like a good thin pancake.
I like a Nickelback song or two.
I like a barbecue chicken pizza. I really like those seeds. I like a midnight buffet. I kind of like the smell of soft scrub. I like more of a small derriere. I like cake.
I like Ed Sheeran.
I like both a hamburger and a cheeseburger. I like clocks. I like how I've kind of set up my life. I like grasshopper pie.
Oh, no, I like it creamy.
I like good, firm banana. I like just looking out at the sea. I like eating. I like moist. I like curry.
I like big butts.
I like fried Brussels sprouts. I like more of a firm filling. I like corn.
I like Nordstrom. I do like musicals.
I like pepperoni. I like nice hotels. I like Nick getting a start today. I like nuts. I like Steph Curry. I like that song.
I like Squirt.
I like Saki. I like San Diego State.
I like Straight Up, Paul Abdul.
I like the beef and broccoli. I like to mix it up. I like Science Experiments. I like that song. I like the crispiness of the waffle. I really like cheese. I like the little lunch meat. I like very straight lines. I like cannelloni. I like a well-crafted headline. I like brown sugar. I like maps. I'll say I like Justin Turner.
One thing that's common is he likes some things that are firm.
Yes. But I also like things that are creamy.
And
it's the opposite, right?
crispy.
Yeah.
You have a lot
Textures. I'm very textural,
yes,
aren't
you're
I?
Textural.
Holy crap. Kills me.
I love it. I can listen to it. I love it. I haven't heard it in a while.
Woodsy's flashing the Aztecs headlines during that as if I didn't see that
Yes.
before.
Well, I'm surprised
but I
you
hadn't
haven't
mentioned it. So, the Charlotte Hornets have signed Nathan Mensah. Didn't get drafted in the 2-round NBA draft last night, but non-draft contract for Nathan Mensah, who the defense will play in the NBA. In fact, he may get more of an opportunity simply because you don't worry about working him into the offense that much.
Yeah.
You're like, hey, we need someone to go play defense, and he doesn't care if he gets any shots off. He'll just go out and play his butt off in the post and block a couple of shots. there's a spot on the bench for a guy like Nathan Mensah in the NBA. Whereas, you get a backup point guard, like, hey, I got to get in the rhythm of the game and get 17 shots off. Or I can't play. Well, then you're not playing because we got superstars ahead of you. That's a lot tougher. But Mensah could get some minutes at some point.
What does a guy like that make first year?
What's the minimum?
Yeah.
NBA minimum's over $1 million, I think now.
Wow.
I'm pretty sure even the rookie bottom level entry. If it's a full now, I don't know. He signed a 2-way so they can go G League and up and down. And you make less if you're in the G League, obviously, and then you make more if they bring you up to the NBA.
Is it
team,
like
but
service time kind of? Do you have to accumulate so many games and things like that?
There's some of that too. But remember, you're only paying, like 12 full-time
that's
players
true.
rather than, 26, 40, 53 if you're in the NFL. So those guys make good change if you get up to an NBA roster.
Good for him, man. It's nice to see. Nice to see the
And
kid get it.
maybe we'll see if some of the other Aztecs players get a contract at some point.
Did you watch
as
the
well.
draft?
I did watch. It was on ABC. First round was,
Yeah.
so I did watch most of the
Any
first
surprises
round.
for you?
Nothing huge that I was shocked about.
Top 5 is
I thought-
pretty shocked.
I think the most notable thing is that like only one of the top 5 even played college basketball. It's now foreign players and guys who go to the
G League.
there's that Ignite G League. So if you don't want to go to college, you can kind of do pre-NBA, or they've got these club teams like the OT Elite, Overtime Elite. That's where the Thompson twins came from. And you don't have to go to the college anymore to get drafted in the NBA.
It's amazing.
So it's a different world now. Now, like if you want to play in the NFL, you got to go play college football.
Yeah, you have
no
to.
other choice.
Pretty much.
All right, that is it for us
That's
this
it.
week.
Good week, guys.
Thank you to special guest co-host Chris.
Thank you, buddy.
For
Thank you,
coming in.
guys.
We've been
Thanks for
waiting
having
for a
me.
while. I'm glad the schedule finally worked out for you to join us. We've got the coach John Quintera, Braden Sprendon coming up next. For executive producer Paul Reindl, for Stephen Woods, I'm Ben Higgins. Hopefully when we join you on Monday morning, Padres will be back to 500. Somehow I feel like something will go wrong at some point. We'll find out. Talk to you Monday morning at 6 a.m. here on 97.3 The Fan.